Yeah.
Hello. We're all here. How you like my Scottish Twitter collection?
It's like English, but it's not.
It's exactly.
It's not English, though, right?
I
It's
mean,
something else.
There's some sentence structure. The words are kind of changed around. He uses the word "dugs" for dogs.
Dugs, yeah.
I mean, Dugs don't have bikes.
If I were to, I'm reading these and I'm like, that's just the guy that doesn't know how to spell dogs. That's it.
No,
right? This is English. He's just failing.
I mean,
that's it.
I mean,
TAE is 2. Why TAE for 2?
And
it's more letters.
And DAE is do.
What? Why?
Why day? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
great. Good tweets, bro. I think that's just is it just slang? I mean, is it actually a language, or is it just like nonsensical? Is it like fam?
I mean, are we? Wasn't there was, I guess, so yeah, I guess that's my question is you go from the written word English of here's are the rules, Oxford English Dictionary, right? Here's the rules.
Sure.
And then eventually you get your own country and then you start doing things a weird way, right?
You get your own country and you start doing whatever you want. Yeah,
you get,
I guess so.
Yeah.
Everyone collaboratively starts being incorrect, is what you're telling me, right?
Well, I mean, anyway, put a pin in that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. We'll put a pin in that. Hopefully we never talk about that again.
Well, I have thoughts. Live on time. Cody points for free of charge for Worldwide Interwebs. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 81st. 81. Long time coming, high anticipated, every good big off, supplicated, and appreciated, about you program. The program featuring Nickel Standard, Penny Compensated Talents, William Bishop, Blake Edwards, Staple Media Moderator, Third Round Draft Pick, we name later. We speak English, don't we? Look what I'm doing.
We try.
I mean,
we do our best. At least if we're wrong, we accept it.
No, we have red underlines that tell us when we're wrong.
Right, exactly.
Third round draft pick, name later.
If we were Scottish, that wouldn't work.
3 people, 2 attempts, 1 dream. Broadcasting's finest train wreck. Enough about you as a caller. I mean, your presentation associated with YouTube, iTunes, and all the other tunes available from every coast to every coast. And now, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, dashing, dancing, pants, Spencer Pope Hope, newbie YouTube, Cowboy Cool Hat, DG VOD specialist extraordinaire, 3-time. I gotta update that. That's multi-time world record holder.
Multi-time. Many-time world record holder.
Multiple-time world record holder.
I have the rookie XCOM record. I'm pretty sure the Commander record, too, now, also. You can put those 2 on there.
Professional driver. I mean, he did
Professional driver.
He drove for money.
The population, I mean, yeah.
I mean,
a lot of people drive
he drove for money. Mr. William Bishop.
Population of Scotland, 5.2 million. Population of New York, 8.5 million.
So when you get your own country, you get to do your own stuff. I mean, the same way we started.
A country when your population is smaller than a city.
You start dropping the U out of color and the U out of favorite, and you start calling stuff an elevator instead of a lift. You know.
Well, I mean that sounds like America.
And wait! I thought we were talking about Scotland here.
Wait armor is armor also? There's a lot of American English words that are different than other ones.
And then movements start happening within that country, even like within America, and you get redneckies, and you get Ebonics, and you get Cajun.
What you're telling me is that Scotland's defamation of English is perfectly acceptable. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I'm not saying it's acceptable. I'm saying this is what happens when people when people get their go their own way, right? I mean, you leave people in isolation.
20 million? What the hell? That's insane. That's no way. That's not right.
12 to 20? You don't know?
I mean, that's a huge difference.
It fluctuates. 8 million people kind of come and go.
11.9 million is
the only city in America that fluctuates that bad is Vegas, right? Because every weekend it's just like this huge fluctuation in and out, right?
I wonder how big that is actually. See, population of Vegas. I think populations of different cities is kind of fun.
Right. So Vegas,
Vegas is tiny.
Vegas is 600K, but then the fluctuation is kind of the crazy part about it, right?
It's increased a lot in the past 20 years. It's like doubled.
Yeah. So there's our Vegas.
Between 1998 and 1999, it jumped like 70,000 people. Pretty big jump.
Yeah. Let me see. Henderson County. Yeah, I think it goes up to like it doubles. I mean, it's one of the only cities. I think something like it has to double every double and empty every weekend. Right?
You really think so? That's insane.
So you think
there must be so much traffic.
Right. You think about how many people congregate in Vegas on a weekend and then go.
Just leave.
Yeah,
probably
and then
crazy.
leave.
Yeah, probably most of the population of Vegas exists to serve the people who come in.
Yes.
And hang out and then leave.
100%.
So China has the top 2 most populous cities on the planet, Shanghai and Beijing, at 20 plus million.
Right. Those guys need to slow down.
India's got number 3.
They need to settle down.
Nigeria has number 4, and China has number 5 again.
Right.
I'm surprised Tokyo isn't bigger. It's number 8 on the most populous. 13 million people live in Tokyo.
See if I can see a graphic of a daily fluctuation in.
I feel like that'd be really hard to pin down. Oh, London is number 23. That's interesting. The United States doesn't even make this list anywhere.
Right.
Oh, here it is, 24, just below London.
What, New York?
8.5. Yeah, New York.
New York. Yep. Well, the other thing that we have that a lot of other folks that many of those cities that you just listed off.
Yeah.
The number one thing that slows down population is female education. You end up if you track female education, that goes with female opportunities, which means I have an opportunity to do something other than have to squeeze out a zillion kids, right?
Aluminium.
Right.
Wait, I don't know. Well, who found aluminum first, Sam? Okay, that's who owns aluminum.
Right.
I'm not sure who did.
Oh, there's a video I watched. Speaking about naming rights, we'll come back to Vegas here because I got some other stuff for Vegas. So
Vegas is in a desert, so it doesn't matter where things are at nowadays. You have AC and stuff.
I was watching
water and aqueducts.
Right. I was watching a video that Neil deGrasse Tyson was making a speech about how
astrophysics black guy.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
As I affectionately refer to him.
That's the guy. You forget his name. Oh yeah, that one guy, that does the thing.
Well, I mean that's how I originally met him, knew of him.
Mm-hmm. We actually saw him in person.
Right, I remember you telling me.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He ends up talking about, has this little video about naming rights.
Naming rights.
Yeah, and naming rights. So I was listening to this video of him speaking. It was talking about the Islamic Golden Age, right? So between 800 and 1100 AD, right? There was this period in the Middle East that was pretty amazing for the planet, and it has never ever been repeated since. In fact, it has spiraled backwards in.
Oh, really?
Things, right?
Oh, that's sad.
So the thing is, when you discover something first, you get to name it, right? And so.
Sure.
Pretty much America ends up discovering most of the bottom part of the periodic table. That's why you have Californium and Berkeleyum or whatever it's called or whatever it is on the bottom part of the periodic table. All the charts. That's why we have the Higgs boson particle. That's why we have all these different things. When you discover it, you get to name it, right? And so. When you have these different things, you can kind of go up and you can tell who discovered it based on what it is, right? So you have things like you have the stars are a good one, and because the U.S. is leading all of the space exploration, we got to name all the space stuff, chemistry stuff, right? You also get to
America.
You get to name it if you discover it and you make it up, right? Well, there's a reason why our alphabet and our numbering system is called the Arabic numerals. Like we went from Roman numerals to Arabic numerals because it was a better way. That's because they are from that era of 800 to 1100 BC, and stuff really starts to explode in terms of what you get to do, right? What you get to name. So let me see if if I can find this. Like there's star names like Orion and all these sorts of things. There's a period between 800 and 1100 where all of these things were happening. Islam ends up being this great force for scientific thought. And here comes this guy named Imam Hamid al-Ghazali, and he starts teaching that science and the pursuit of science is opposite is heresy, and it's punishable by death, and therefore against the Prophet Allah. And
that's some pretty heavy stuff to bring in, Clantan.
That's the rise of the rise of this fundamentalist Islam happens about then, and I think sometime around then, when did the Mongols invasion of Middle East? I think that was around the same about around the same time they end up. Somewhere shortly thereafter, 1200 to 1300, they cover. By that time, when those 100 years, Mongols come in somewhere around 1300, 1200s to 1300s, and just brutalize everybody and all of their records.
Yay, Mongols!
So right up after this fundamentalist teaching happens, it kind of takes hold, and the only ones that end up remaining. Everyone educated is dead. Everything that they wrote down at the same time was burned and destroyed, and the only ones to survive were just the ragtag barbarians who had just had their world conquered, and they were looking to Allah to make all sense of it. And they said, "Oh, we had all this science progress, and Allah is punishing us, so therefore we need to stick to these ways."
That seems like something, yeah. Oh, yeah, a bad thing happened. It must have been God.
Right.
Yeah.
A bad thing happened. These Mongols were raised up by Allah to come crush us because we strayed too far from Allah. And smash. Middle East has never recovered. And to this day, the statistic goes like this. Spain, which from literacy rate and science rate is somewhere around 30th in the world. Right? Not horrible, but not good. Spain translates more books into Spanish in 6 months than
half a year.
All of those Middle East countries combined into Arabic in 900 years.
900.
Spain
Jeez.
Translates more books.
900 years.
Spain translates more books. I mean, since all of this discovery, right? All this discovery happens, and then the teaching happens, and the Mongols come in and wipe everybody out. And then, since that 900 years since that time, Spain translates more books in 6 months than all those Arab countries combined, like Syria, Egypt. What are some of the treasures over there, like Qatar, Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, like all those all the ones launching satellites up into space, right? And
yeah, definitely ones who are famed for
innovation and technology and invented the internet,
social rights, and,
all the ones who have progressive women's rights and all that. 900 years go by, and they've translated almost as many books into Arabic as Spain translates in 6 months. Dogma, people, don't fall for it. There you go.
That's intense.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
cool. Mercy.
That was Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about this?
Yeah.
Where did you see this at?
YouTube.
Can I have
YouTube. Neil deGrasse Tyson, and do the tagline after it is called naming rights. And
naming rights.
Naming rights. And it was interesting, right? I mean, and just this week, Saudi Arabia. Last week, I think maybe on the day of the show, 1 week ago today, Saudi Arabia allowed women to drive.
Yes. It's a pretty big deal.
Way to go.
Just prior to that...
The human rights pillar, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Now can drive, right? Just prior to that, I think the head guy in charge over there had come to England, and the Queen drove him around.
Nice.
Drove while so I mean that's kind of maybe probably not, but It was partially credited with why it's now okay for women to drive. So that I thought that was cute. That she, in particular, I think she's 90 years old now, drove him around rather than have someone else drive them around to, prove a point. That hey, maybe this would be a good thing for you to do. Let women drive. So yeah, that's nice. I mean, oh gosh, how progressive of them now.
Yeah.
To let women drive.
But they still have to dress like ninjas, right?
Do they?
Yeah.
It depends where you're at.
Oh yeah, I mean
ninjas, shinobi.
I mean,
depends where you're at. The more rural you get, the more that's a real thing. The closer you are into the cities, the less so.
I mean, if you saw a dude running around in one of those
garbon,
with all that garbon. Well, if you saw a dude in like one of those masks and all you could see was his eyes, and he was, he was like at a convenience store, and there was a police incident with him, how would you describe it? When you say, well, it was this dude, he was dressed like a ninja.
No, I don't think I would say that. I don't think I would say he's dressed like a ninja, but maybe if I didn't know the name of that thing, I guess I could have. I would say he was. Yeah, I guess he was a ninja. Sure.
I mean,
sure, why not?
Oh, I didn't see his skills. He didn't whip out a sword, but he sure was dressed like one.
I would have definitely said that it was a girl, though. Just maybe with no context.
Right.
Men don't wear that, right? Correct?
No way. Dudes wear Jedi robes.
I think that women could drive previously.
They wear military uniforms or Jedi Master robes. That's it.
Jedi Master, right. I think women could drive before. They decided to have a man in the car, Sam. So then they can drive by themselves. No, yeah, they could.
Really?
I mean, they could be a chaperone. The guy could be like, drive me. Pretty sure.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah. I guess
you could drive your grandpa somewhere.
That makes sense.
He was sick. You just couldn't do it yourself. It was more of a restraining thing, so women couldn't have freedom to do what they wanted to.
Right.
Right. That's kind of the whole dogma over there.
Well,
that's what you do.
Now that they're mobile,
Right. Now that's a problem. Now they can go have meetings together, talk about things together, cause all kinds of problems.
Right.
Have you been watching the new Star Trek by any chance? Okay, you should see the new Klingons.
Really?
Yeah, they look great. I love them. They have totally redone them.
Star Trek new.
Look at the new Klingons. They look sweet.
Klingons.
Like a lot. There's a lot of new awesome aliens.
Do they look like? Did this trigger one of your memories that Saudi Arabian women driving?
No. I was just looking at Star Trek memes.
Oh. Let me know when you're ready to do the show. Okay.
Well, look, I am doing the show. You were talking about your thing. I'm researching for my thing. I wanted to talk about Star Trek.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well,
what would you rate the new Star Trek series? I don't think there's not enough of it yet, Kurt. The thing about shows for me is I have to be able to binge watch them, and usually I'll binge watch something that I like multiple times. So like the shows that I like the most, I've watched 4 or 5 times. So once it's all out and I get like the start to finish conclusion, and I can binge watch it all, then I can give you what I feel about it. But I think it's okay now. I think it's all right. It hasn't like absolutely shit on everything that is Star Trek. It isn't terrible. The acting isn't the worst. Obviously the visuals are way better than the previous Star Treks.
Yeah,
it's certainly this one's way higher budget than say Deep Space Nine, which I liked. One of the maybe the one I prefer the most of all the Star Treks because it has a really solid story and really solid acting. I love the new aliens. All the aliens look sweet. Klingons are actually now an alien race rather than obviously a guy with makeup on.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet also. I appreciate that. They look different. They're new. To change how the Klingons look is a huge risk. I mean, you're risking like, all the Star Trek fans out there are going to see like, what is this? This is not a Klingon.
Right.
But, I think that's a cool thing because the reason they didn't look different before is because they did not have the money to make them look awesome.
Yes,
right?
Yes. So as a kid, I always thought that you say, hey, we met another alien race. And it says, why?
Wow, interesting. It looks just like a human.
It looks amazingly humanoid.
Yeah, amazingly humanoid. And, in Deep Space Nine, I don't know if you've watched it, but they try to backpedal on this to make it so that the other series are okay. It turns out this alien race seeded all the worlds in our entire galaxy with human DNA, and that's why everything is very similar to humans. Cardassians are similar. Klingons are similar. The blue guys are similar. So they backpedal on that and try to make it look that way. But hopefully now we can have actual aliens that look crazy and weird. And
well, I never bought it because I would always go, what makes this is our? I would say, okay, that's our interpretation of an alien. But what makes them think they're going to have 2 arms, 2 legs? This
Right.
may not be
that's the biggest
ideal.
thing, right? Like, how would you? I mean, the whole having a hand thing kind of makes sense, having like an appendage to work with. But you could have however many, really. 4 probably would be more. I mean, is reasonable to our planet, but who knows what diversion's going to happen?
Is there something better than an arm? Yes.
Yeah, it definitely, right?
Right.
I mean, evolution would make something cool and unique.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing I always thought about these aliens is like, look, all you have to do is look around our own planet. Let's figure out about half of the stuff that we look at do not have 2 arms, 2 legs. They do not have
I guess half the stuff. Yeah, they have like
planet
tons,
life and fungus life.
tons of legs.
I mean,
or no legs.
Or no legs, right? Like
Yeah.
plant life and fungus life and all that sort of. I mean,
no silicon-based life forms. Actually, no. In
life is not defined as
Avenger
Animal Kingdom, right?
Animal Kingdom, right? Shoot, what is the one that everyone hated, Kurt? Do you remember? It's the
Stargate.
One with no, people like Stargate. It's Star Trek Avenger, Star Trek something. It's the one with the Klingon who gets pregnant from a Huey. It has
Janeway.
No, that's Voyager. Everyone does hate that one, but I really like that one. It's not the one though.
Yeah, I didn't like Janeway.
Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise. In that one, they do have a silicone-based life form, and that is maybe it was something like that. I think it was actually maybe it was chlorine-based. It was one of those two. It was not a carbon-based life form, and we couldn't talk to them. And they had their ships, and they had like a different environment inside them and stuff like that. And the captain of I think it's the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't remember this. He tortures the alien by like messing with his oxygen and gets information out of him. That's why I remember that. That was a really dark Star Trek. God, I think it's Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise. I want to say.
Yeah, find a picture. As you're talking, I'm putting pictures up.
Yeah, it is Star Trek Enterprise. Yeah, this is probably the lowest rated of all the Star Treks, but I really liked it. I thought it was okay. This is actually the Star Trek that got me into watching all the other Star Treks, because prior to this one, I hadn't really watched any of the other ones. And I kind of watched them in a wonky order. I watched Star Trek Enterprise, and then I watched all of Star Trek Next Generation through, and then I watched Deep Space Nine, and then Voyager.
See, I knew Wes was going to fall out of his chair when I said Stargate. Wes has a love affair with Stargate. That was
actually and there's also a water life. No, there's a lots of different things in this one. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things going on in Star Trek Enterprise for different life forms and stuff like that were really alien to us. So that's nice that they touched on that.
Right.
Also, when I talked about Deep Space Nine storyline saying about seeding other planets, that was Deep Space Nine and not Next Generation. I don't remember a Next Generation episode that talks about that, but the entirety of the plot of Deep Space Nine is about that. The whole seeding other planets and there being like a fourth dimension god that really did all this stuff.
Like Q?
Yeah, kind of like Q. Sort of kind of like Q.
Yeah. Q's an interesting character.
Yeah, I guess I like Q.
I thought Q's acting was horrible.
Q. Did you think so? He's in the new XCOM. He's in XCOM War of the Chosen.
His character, the character Q, is very intriguing to me.
Yeah, I think so too, because he is like the antithesis of what you want in a show about humanity reaching out into the stars. Like, one of the very first things that happens is that Q comes on the ship. He's like, lol, I could blow you guys up. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You guys are so small and pathetic. He's like very Lovecraftian, Q is. So people either hate or love Q, but either one of those things is a good thing for the series because you get a lot of emotional attachment to this really almost baseline evil thing that exists in the Star Trek world.
Yeah, I didn't think he did his acting very well. I just didn't buy his acting. He was a little smarmy, he's a little swishy and wormy.
I think he was supposed to be gross like that. Yeah, I think that's what they told him he should be. Which
unlikable.
I understand.
Right.
Unlikable. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like a fourth dimension. He doesn't eat food. He doesn't breathe air.
Right.
Like he could blink you out of existence if he wanted to.
Yeah.
What a jerk, right?
I mean, that's what I was thinking about. Is like I'll watch these. Like occasionally I'll dip into a documentary that says, it's like a search for life documentary. Here's what we're doing on Mars. Here's what we're doing, whatever. And we say, okay. And so some PhD physicist goes, well, what do we know for sure? We know for sure that all life is carbon-based.
I mean, we do know that right now, yes.
Do we know for sure? Or is that what we're searching for, right?
I mean,
is there something that lives in metal and breathes methane, right?
Well, okay. So when we say for sure in the science world, we mean like 51% sure. Like once you're 51% sure, you're pretty sure. Like that's a pretty good sure to be 51%. Like
Well-
50.0001% sure is like a really good sure to be about something, right? Just like the 0.01% above half a chance. That's a pretty good number for being sure about something. So
Well-
that's really what that statement means. We're pretty sure that there's
Yeah.
nothing but it says carbon-based life. As sure as you sure can get, right?
Yeah, and then they're going, okay, well, what do we know? Well, we know that carbon-based life needs oxygen, so we're looking for oxygen. We know it needs water. We're
Looking for water. It's the
All
big
right.
one. Looking for Wawa.
I mean,
51 is a really good sure. It is, yeah.
I mean,
when we're
in
talking about
science,
like
maybe.
the universe, right?
Yeah. I guess, but I just said,
How
is there-
sure? That's how sure you're going to be of something in when speaking about it. We're 51% sure that gravity is a thing.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, I mean that's really sure.
Yeah.
51% sure. We don't know exactly
Yeah.
everything about gravity, but we get an idea of that the bigger something's mass, the more gravity it exerts, etc., etc.
It's like the statement that Tommy Lee Jones makes to Will Smith in Men in Black, and he says, "You know what? It's K's talking to Jay. So he's he's saying, hey,
To Jay.
1,000 years ago, they knew the sun
Right.
went around the Earth.
They were 51% sure
Right.
that the sun went around the Earth. They
100 years
knew it.
ago, they thought, or
Look.
400 years
Look
ago,
at it
they
moving.
thought
We
the
can
world.
see it moving in
Right.
the sky, you turd. We know it's going around this body.
Yeah, I knew
Duh.
it. Yeah, and then 400 years ago, they knew the world was flat.
Flat as hell. Look, Jeff sailed off into the distance, didn't come
Gone.
back.
Gone. I don't know. I
He
don't know where
fell
went.
off, dummy.
Fell off. Turtles.
Look with your eyes. Does it curve?
No. Is turtles all the way down?
Stupid turtles. Yeah, turtles and dragons and shit. Who knows? Don't go over there, Frederick. You're gonna die. Don't take. No, you can't get a boat from me. I'm not gonna give you a boat. Columbus. You know what? They must have really hated Columbus to send him. Actually, it was Columbus Day recently, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And people are trying to change it to the other guy's name. Do you know the guy who actually discovered the Americas? And someone in the chat will know for sure because Imager was. I can't believe you don't know. Because Imager
Amerigo
was like,
Vespucci or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy it was named after. Well, the issue is that. Yeah.
With scientific methods, you could argue that some things are not possible, doing math and logic and stuff. Then you're 100% sure that something is not.
Right.
But inherently in that process, as a scientist, you must stand here and also say, I am positive that this is the case. But also, and I can never be positive about something.
No.
To be assured about something is against the scientific principles.
No. Well. Yeah. Well, you have a theory and you have a law.
And you confirm when you confirm a theory over and over and over and over again ad infinitum, that becomes a law, right? The law of relativity or the law of gravity, all those things. But that law still exists in a plane where we're waiting to break that sucker. The first time that we have a negative input on the law, well, the law didn't work. Boom, we did it. Finally, we broke that law. That's what it's all about. But you're excruciatingly measuring and taking something and putting it, testing it over and over again until you mess it up. That's what it's all about. So don't be sure about anything as a scientist, okay? Or a Renaissance man, all right? Don't be sure. No matter how many times you see the sun orbit around the Earth perceivably, don't be sure about that thing.
Right. Well, let's do this. Hang on just a second.
Do it.
I have a thing for it here. This guy. All right. Difference between a theory and a law. Is it a gravity theory or gravity law? There you go.
The law of gravity? Yeah, right. It's been called.
So it says. Oh no.
You can be 100% sure something is not falsified.
The theory is the best explanation of observation of events versus something that reliably predicts patterns in nature.
Nice.
So the law of gravity is because we have equations or statement like thermodynamic law.
Right.
It's not the theory of gravity. It's the law of gravity because we have equations and we have all these. We have all this scientific data.
And every time we do it, it reliably predicts the situation.
And we have a theory.
Every time I drop this item, it always falls. It doesn't necessarily matter if I know why it falls.
Right, but we have a theory that all life is plant-based, or sorry, it's carbon-based.
Well, I mean, we have a law then, right? That we have that all life is plant-based because we can reliably test it over and over again. All life that we find is carbon-based?
Well, that we find, but the reason why we don't know that for sure is, one, we've never been out of the third dimension. Q.
Okay, you're just
Two,
but that statement implies that there is a fourth dimension.
We've never really
science
gotten
fiction.
We've never really gotten out of our solar system.
Well, I mean, we've seen things outside of our solar system. We've looked at things. We've perceived things from a time ago outside of our solar system.
Right. We've never really gotten outside of our solar system. And so,
I mean, yeah.
Admittedly, our lab is pretty small. It's only a planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. I mean,
You know?
but these don't matter for the law like that. I mean, you're arguing against the law of gravity right now, also. Because if we go somewhere else in the solar system, the galaxy, like law of gravity is going to change. You think?
No, huh?
Okay. Well, then why is this carbon-based life form thing going to change?
Well, because we admit that we don't have equations to prove. We don't have equations that can predict.
The law does not. This says a law does not require equations right in front of your face hole.
It says a statement.
No, usually based on considered usually true, but not an answer why to questions. So the law of gravity, we can tell our children about it, and they're like, "Why, Daddy?" And you're like, It's the law, okay? We can predict it, but we don't know why.
Yeah, so that's a law of gravity.
Right. So the law of carbon-based life forms.
The law of carbon-based life forms.
Clowntown, I'm not going to believe that there's nothing besides carbon-based life forms until you find me one. Okay? Go find me one. Go into the other galaxy and find me a non-carbon. Give me that methane breather over here. But those would be extremely dangerous for us, by the way.
But
we wouldn't really want to run into
100%. Don't be smoking either, because you.
What do you have there? Oh!
Right. Don't be smoking. But
I breathe methane.
But we also don't have a statement necessarily that describes all life that we can run a line through.
We definitely do. All life has to reproduce. It has to be able to move. It has to die. I think there's one more.
Jellyfish don't die. Remember there's that one jellyfish that doesn't die?
You could kick it.
What defines
smash
life?
This is like 6th grade biology, man. There's definitely definitions of life. There's the reason that viruses are not alive is in this part thing. In this definition of life.
All right. Well, it doesn't say carbon-based. So let me put this up here real quick.
I think that's implicit. Thank you. Sentience for being alive?
No.
I don't think so, West, dude.
No. Not sentience. No. Thank you, but no. Nation of
We
life.
definitely have a statement to define life, for sure. Guaranteed. Again, 6th grade biology, this one. What is and what isn't alive.
All right, let me pull this up.
Silicon can do equally strong chemical bonds like carbon. Oh, that's interesting. So theoretically possible.
Silicon's...
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know that. Robots could be considered life then? Yeah. Well, I mean, if a robot can produce another robot, if it can move around,
grow and develop,
and if it can
respond to reproduce,
stimuli, reproduce. Yeah, that's kind of a big one.
Growth and development, respond to environment, use energy.
Use energy.
Yeah, heredity, which I don't know what that is.
That means that they pass on a part of themselves to the next generation
as they reproduce, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Correct.
And then they contain cells.
Ooh.
That's okay. So that's different. So is robot?
That's an interesting one.
So that eliminates a lot of robots, right? Because robots don't really contain cells.
Well, it depends on what you consider a cell.
Right.
I mean, I guess a cell has a pretty specific definition, but maybe that definition can be broadened to include like nanobots, which could kind of fit into that. I mean, we already have microscopical robots, right, that do things.
Oh, we do. We already do.
Right. So we already know that's a thing.
That is the scariest stuff ever.
That is a super scary thing because you could have eaten those already. I mean, right now they're working on cancer solutions with nanobots. There's lots of things that nanobots can do for us to help us out.
But
like fixing something.
If you're programming one of those nanobots and you don't carry the one,
you don't. I'm the programmer for the nanobots. Yeah, I just killed half the population of the planet.
Right.
My bad. I forgot to carry the one.
Oops, law.
Sorry.
You know,
define transistor as a cell. See, there's a little number 6 is kind of a fiddly one, right?
Right.
We can mess with that one.
Yeah, that one's where it is. But yeah, if you're programming in, it's like, oh well, I'm programmed to eat all cancer cells, but I accidentally put in eat all liver cells.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
man,
the whole planet has no livers. right?
Yeah, we'd be poisoned to death
And-
slowly.
So yeah.
Not the best.
So
Nanobot type, as long as they can't reproduce themselves, I think is the thing with nanobots. If they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna make another nanobot. I don't have anything else to do right now. I'm just gonna make a second nanobot.
right.
Gonna take these things and put them together to make another nanobot.
That's
And then that
what's
goes out of control.
that's
So that's what
exactly,
happens with
yeah.
with cancer in our bodies. A anomalous cell will be like, yep, making a new cell now. Yeah, that cell doesn't really do anything. That cell's gonna make a new cell. Yep, all right, yeah, let's keep doing this
Right.
until I kill my host. Are viruses not cell-based? I don't know if
No.
I think viruses probably have things in them that help them do things. I'm not sure though. Some viruses probably do. Definitely our cells have cells inside them
No, they're
that
not.
let them do things.
They're not
Like
made
different
out of
little parts of
cells.
them.
Are there? And in fact, if you
Content,
put
hello?
down are viruses made of cells, that's a question. It says no, but
Content,
then
you muted yourself.
on what? Oh, on Discord.
On Discord.
I'm still live on the stream.
Please.
Hang on. I'm still live on the stream, but I'm muted on Discord.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's fine.
for some reason.
Viruses are not life. Bacteria is life. Right. I think Max is asking why.
Right.
I think it's because of how viruses reproduce, or something like that. There's some part of viruses
Hell
that don't fit
knows
into
about
this.
what viruses are so scary. You know.
Viruses are super scary. The fact that they can kill you and they are themselves are dead. You cannot kill what is dead.
Right, and it's a lot like it's kind of a lot like biological nanobot. If was the way you need to think of a virus, right? It's
The
a
thing about a virus is it can inject a cell of yours with a code to make your cell into a factory for viruses.
right, which
That's what scares the hell out of me.
that's crazy.
That's spooky AF.
Yeah, and how we are. What's amazing is that we are still alive as
Right.
a.
I mean, our
a
bodies have
species.
been purposely built to be like, that's a virus. Holy crap! I'm
Kill
gonna
it.
encase this in ice or whatever.
Whatever it does.
Goo.
We need to
and
we need to
keep
poop
it
this
in
out
your-
right now.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Get it out of here.
So I mean, what happens is that our defenses identify one of our cells that we produced,
Right.
as having been corrupted by a virus, and we kill that cell
right.
so that it can't make more viruses.
Right. You'll get better when it's done with you.
Done
Right.
with you.
That's
Right. Yeah.
that's the thing is most viruses we catch, the virus determines when it's done, not us.
Right. Which I mean, why does it's virus is scary?
Yeah, they're totally scary. And or when your body just says, "All right, I've had enough. I'm dumping every cell that virus is in, and you're just going to feel like crap for 11
Yeah.
days."
You're gonna cook it.
We're
Try
gonna cook
cooking
it.
it at least.
Yeah, and you're going to say,
That's-
"Right,
that's-
we're going to increase our temperature to slow it down, and then we're going to stop producing new cells to slow it down,
Right.
and we're going to go eat up all the other cells, and then we're going to dump them all."
Increasing our temperature is such a cool thing to do when fighting against foreign infection. Such a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Because all right, if you cooked an egg before, you notice when you cook the egg, it becomes solid, right? That's because you're denaturing the protein. You're actually fundamentally changing the protein in the egg by heating it. It's actually breaking it up and making it something that it wasn't before. And that's what your body's attempting to do to itself in order to fight this foreign infection, which is like ridiculous, maybe a question mark, scary, effective, I guess is what it really comes down to.
Right.
Like our core body temperature gets to the point where enemy bacteria can't survive, and enemy viruses can't survive in it, but we somehow survive.
Right. Right. Oh yeah, it's crazy. That's actually one of the more fascinating things that we learn about in one of my chemical engineering classes. And
nice.
the fact that you brought it up makes me gives me a lot of
Yeah.
confirmation that you're a smart mother trucker is because
Well, appreciate.
is because the egg is a great everyday look at how crazy proteins are. Is that on most every other substance you do, say like everything, almost everything else has a liquid, a gaseous, a liquid, and a solid state based
In a
on
plasma
temperature.
state.
Yeah, a plasma somewhere around, right? But
Plasma.
most of them is like a water. It's water vapor in the
Right.
air. You cool it enough,
Water-
it goes
water's
to
the classic
liquid,
one, right?
and then it goes. You cool it enough more, and it goes to solid, right? And we can fluctuate. Turns out metal does the same thing. It's just metal's way
at extreme temperatures.
You can boil
Right.
metal.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. you got to get after it if you're gonna boil.
If you've
boil
ever
metal.
if you've ever boiled water and gotten burned by the water, that hurts, right? It will
Right.
cool down fairly quickly on contact with your skin because you're mostly made out of water.
Right.
Get boiled by metal, like stick your hand in.
Good
like,
night. Good night.
Yeah,
They're gone.
Jeez, the instantaneous pass out. From
If
that
you drop your
excruciating
keys,
pain.
if you drop your keys in the lava, do not reach in and try and grab
Nope. Oh, I need those. Hold on.
them. Do not reach in and try and grab them. They're gone, bro.
Molten rock. No, thank you.
Right.
Liquid rock.
But here's the thing: is with all of those substances, I can heat it up. It goes to gas. I cool it down. It goes back to solid. I can heat it up again. It goes back to gas. I cool it down. It goes back to solid. Like all of those, you can repeat.
Right.
Not proteins. You have an egg.
Right.
It starts out as liquid. You heat it up. It goes to solid. You cool it back down to room temperature. Still solid. Stuck.
Weird, right? That's
Right.
strange. How curious how the protein has changed in such a way that it can't be brought back.
Right.
To where it was. You killed it, sort
Yeah.
of. Right.
Yeah,
It wasn't alive in the first place.
It's called denaturation, is what it's called. Yeah, but that's
that is it. That is the word. I had
It
that
is.
word at the tip of my tongue that I
Yeah.
wanted to say, but I didn't. Denaturization. Nice. Very nice.
Right.
We do that to protect ourselves from viruses, and we also do that to our food a lot.
yeah. So
See, I never understood plasma. I learned about plasma when I was a kid, but plasma is one of those weird things that things can be plasma, but only during certain circumstances. Plasma is like this crazy funky.
Yeah. We did
Plasma.
well, you did say the word. You did say denaturation.
Oh yeah, I guess did I?
But plasma is like is even hard for engineers to understand because I don't know what it is.
Plasma is a hot ionized gas consisting of approximately equal numbers of positively charged ions and negatively charged electrons.
Okay.
Yep.
But but defining it as a state, meaning it like exists in between the states. I think it's not. It's a fourth state that is harder to.
So if you were to cool it down suddenly, it would be.
I think it goes to liquid.
I think plasma is the hottest of, but why is it not molten? I don't understand.
Right.
We need to get a scientist on here.
Yeah. Yeah. We kind of do.
That'd be nice.
There's actually something that's really interesting in terms of the Earth, that may be able
Welcome
to
to
save
Earth.
us.
Chicken face.
Trash.
Shitty, I'm sorry you're so
Plasma.
sickly. Plasmar? Sorry about your plasmar.
There's a plasma incinerator, and I'll show you this.
Whoa, that we're using to incinerate what?
Whatever
what do we
want.
need to incinerate?
So here's the thing:
Whatever we
is
want.
that when you have this little plasma incinerator, it's like trash blaster is what they're calling.
Oh,
So
I see.
here's the thing: is that you start up this. These are in place now. I think there's 2 in the U.S. now. One in Florida and one somewhere central.
They're burning gas using plasmar.
Right.
I'm sorry, they're burning trash using plasma.
Right. So what you end up doing is that let me gasification and recycling. Let me
cool.
Yeah. So let me save this image and we'll put the trash.
So this is something that you would get in a video game. It'd be like, yeah, you're
Yes.
trash. You put it in this machine, and then it gives you power.
Yes,
One of
that's
those,
exactly
like,
right. But here's the
Ridiculous video game conceptions that makes it so that you're trash. You can use your resource somehow.
correct. But it is real. It is real, and it's working in the U.S. right now. The problem.
Yeah, that's awesome.
the problem is, so essentially you use a jillion megajoules of energy to get it started.
To get plasma going? Okay.
Once you get it started, you have to constantly feed it trash to burn, and it feeds itself on the burned trash, right? And it uses
Okay, fair. That's very well then.
uses itself. It does do some byproduct called that syngas chamber, right?
I see that.
There is some byproduct, but essentially what it's doing is it burns the trash that you put in. Gas comes off of it, but you essentially joule-based heated a melter. It basically glassified waste and metallic waste comes out of it. But essentially the energy you get out of it fuels itself and has so much energy trapped in all of that, it also fuels the neighborhood. So it produces this amazing amount of power. The issue
Nice.
is that it does produce 2 types of waste, right? That glassified waste and metallic waste, because glass does have a residue when you heat it up. So it has metal melts, right? It turns into this soupy. It's
Right.
basically lava comes out of it. So you got to figure out what to do with that. And then there's this fuel byproduct with this gas that you can scrub and get out of there.
I would not want to work here at all.
Oh,
like
who
the-
the hell
the-
knows what's
the-
in that, right?
The temperatures that you're working with, like, I mean, if you just make a simple mistake, you could be breathing in this stuff that.
Yep. A zillion, breathing in a zillion degree gas.
Yeah.
Your lungs are burned, done.
You're dead. You're just dead on the spot.
Zap law. Right. So the cool part, though, is that, okay, here it talks about an 18,000-degree electric arc. Creates a plasma zone in the center of the container. Expose that intense heat, and remaining trash gets blasted into its atomic element. So basically, you're putting everything back to its atoms. And then you either get liquid, solid, or gas, right?
Or plasma.
Yeah, and more plasma. At the bottom, the cauldron, it's a joule-heated melter, which acts like a coil on the electric stove and maintains a molten glass bath. It's liquid glass bath that traps any hazardous material. So that's what oozes out of it. It's liquid glass that you got to deal with that traps all of the bad stuff. So then, swirling in a taffy-like ooze, the molten glass is drawn out of the system. It's inert. Now it can be converted to low-value materials such as road aggregate, and metals are captured at this point and later recycled into steel. So you use that stuff
road
for
aggregate.
Roads and steel, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we need roads in America.
And by the way, the roads that we have, they break down. So if these are better roads, then hey, why not, right?
Yep.
And then the syngas, is carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and you can be cleaned and sold to do like ethanol and diesel and produce electricity on site or elsewhere. So
nifty.
The problem is that you have this amazing
make me a gun that can shoot this.
Yeah, amazing amount of energy to start it, but once it's started, you feed it this stuff, and you can produce more than it. You can grab all the energy that's trapped in all this trash, power the neighborhood, and power itself.
You just need constant trash input, which is something we got.
Yeah,
no problem.
100%. We got that. Now, here's the other thing: is that with all things like what? So my thought to this went to, okay, what do I really want to get rid of that they can't trace back to me?
Yeah, put it in plasma. Human body.
Body number one, right? And you do this bad thing.
You broke that thing down into its atoms. Could you imagine a world in which disposing of bodies with plasma is common, and there has been a science invented to unbreak the atoms down back into its component, into its starting parts to get it to use in court, to get it to use against somebody.
Oh,
there's the future right there.
Used in court. One thing. Well, the future of crime is this plasma business. It's
going to be organized crime. We're going to be using. Oh no, I never had that.
Nope.
I'm going to have like a thing in my car.
Prove
where
it.
The cops are pulling me over.
Yeah.
And putting my drugs in my plasma container.
Zap.
What
do you mean? What,
I got nothing here, sir. It's just my plasma.
No, all you're going to do is find some raw carbon. I don't know what you're talking about. Right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never had any of that sweet methamphetamine co-curriculate.
Yeah, that's exactly what I went to. Is crime is bodies and drugs, right? For these plasma cutters, right? These plasma
that's pretty scary. I mean, plasma. Yeah, using a plasma cutter to get through a wall, which is like.
Right.
Yep. All right.
It's just so hot, right? But
yeah, I mean, just a
but
handheld plasma cutter.
You could dispose of bodies of anything you didn't want tracked back to you, like drugs or whatever.
Oh yeah, Kurt's right. If you could turn the atoms back to their previous state, we would have like teleportation now.
Right. Beaming. Here, I'm gonna. Well, what
I really dislike that they have the whole teleporter thing in Star Trek, because Star Trek is pretty unrealistic, but that is like super ridiculous, because it gives them the power to make anything they want via power, right? So they could be like, Earl Grey tea hot, and it's not that they make the Earl Grey; it's that they make the tea, the cup, and then the saucer.
Yes.
Using the power, right?
Right.
And then you take that cup and you just throw it into the plasma generator again, and you get. Like, what the hell? Like,
you recycle it. Right.
Madness, right? And you go to a planet where people are starving to death, and you're like, well...
right. Like, look, you guys are still saying that, look what we can do with our mind. We throw it back in, and we recycle. We pee into this thing.
Yeah.
Those atoms are recycled into the tea next time, right?
Tea later. Yeah.
Turns into Earl Grey tea, right?
Madness.
And you guys are still worried about,
water?
No, you guys are still worried about doing math and offending Allah? What's going on,
Yeah.
Call back.
I drink my own pee. Come on.
Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Tastes delicious.
That was the other funny thing is I had that one time.
Interesting, Kurt.
That Ash was that was another funny time on our show where Ash goes, man, could you imagine that having to drink. I think the question he asked was something like having to drink water that was recycled, or no, having to drink water that was recycled from your own pee. I said, well, son, I've got news for you.
Yeah, you are. You're doing that right now, Sonny Jim.
Yeah.
We got that going on this second. That was an easy one.
Yeah.
Okay, we mostly pee water.
Son,
turns out.
Son, I have great news.
Could you imagine in a world? Dad, no.
Yeah. Could you, son, easiest man? Could you imagine a world where you could recycle your own pee and drink that water? And I said,
that's
well,
an easy one, Sonny Jim.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. You can just drink your own pee right now.
The future's here, son.
Don't do it twice. You can do it the first time. You're okay. Right. Not number 2 though. All right.
And I said, by the way, this right here, other people's pee.
Other people's pee. Your mom's pee.
OPP.
My mom's pee.
Here's the other thing.
Pee.
Other people's poo. Right there.
Yep. You're gonna get water out of that too.
Also, by the way, here's the crazy part. Is this other people's drugs? So, so here's the thing: is that the level of Prozac, apparently Prozac, and other depression drugs do not break down from our chlorine and our particulate treatment.
Really?
A lot of it goes. There's a portion of it that goes through a lot of the drugs that we take in our system, and because oxys and because of the prevalence.
I like how you call them oxys. That's a slang street term. You go to your drug dealer and say, "Hey, can I get some oxys?"
Oxys. But because
Compound said that casually just now on stream,
I just dropping that. Because of the proliferation of those drugs and the filtering system not being very good on those long carbon chains, of the percentage of Prozac and those types of benzodiazepine, oxy type of things, and hormones in our clean water, our best water,
our bestest waters,
it's drinkable. But it's way higher than it was, and it's continuing to get higher because it's only concentrating, right? It's only.
See, this reminds me of is it Soma? Yeah,
Soma.
So we're getting in our water as we would do. What is that? Brave New World, I believe.
Yes.
Is the book?
Yes. Did you read Brave New World?
Yeah, I read Brave New World.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's as I think it was a mandatory reading in high school, so that's probably why I read it. But it was actually one of those books where I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
If you haven't read Brave New World, that is where we're getting to. I think more and more even.
Right.
Like as everyone gets, especially as like there is a less of a divide between our roles as men and women. Like we can all be business professionals. We don't have to have children. Especially now, it's like less and less people are having 2-3 kids. Right. We're not growing in population. In Brave New World, you don't. That's crazy. You don't have children.
You have children.
You and your partner get the DNA, and it's a test tube baby.
Right.
And that's totally perfectly normal. Like if you're having a bad day, you take your Soma pill, and it totally wipes that day away. Like Brave New World's great.
Yeah.
And I think that it is eventually going to be how things are.
And by the way,
hey, Deerfin.
Rampant promiscuity.
Right. Yeah. You can. I mean, there's no
fact,
fear of getting pregnant because everyone is on mandatory contraceptives.
Right. And when you're with one partner for too long, they start to look down on you. Hey, why are you guys still together?
Oh, is that, man? It's been a long time since I read it.
Yeah.
But that's cool.
It was like cool.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense because you want your population to be happy, right?
Oh,
whatever that definable thing is for happy, and having sex with people gives you the pheromones,
right?
And the bodily reaction of being happy, whatever that is.
Yeah. I want you to be content. Yeah, 1984.
1984 is a somewhat similar book. I think I have read 1984 as well.
Similar stuff. Yeah, and you're wanting to do.
Yes, this is by George Orwell.
Yeah,
George Orwell's a killer, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's good, man. It ends up being an interesting life. The bullcrap part of it is that you could condition young infants early on and teach young infants early on a bunch of knowledge just by playing Audible in their incubators, right?
That is an interesting one.
So
I do remember that from the book, yeah.
So I actually tried this as a kid as a kid when I read this book.
Did you go to sleep with something playing in your ears?
I went on like a textbook. I got a textbook on audio, I think, and I played it, and I said, I'm just going to go to sleep to this. And I was expecting to wake up being able to recite the book. No, you can't.
I don't think that's. I think there's been a lot of research on this, and our subconscious is active, right, all the time. Like it's constantly doing things. You live with another person, kind of, sort of. Like when you have a dream, that's
Yes.
like the other person kind of talking to you, and that is a thing. So your subconscious definitely does learn things. And I think if there was any input from the whole listen to something and hear it and be able to recite it, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is in a moment of panic or extreme emotion, you might be able to possibly perform something. You're like, I don't know how I know this, but I know this thing. But you wouldn't be able to do you wouldn't be able to learn mathematics in that.
Right. Well, mine. I think it was just a story. It was a book that I had to read, so I grabbed the audio book and I said, well, I'm just going to try and see if I can recall instances from this story. It wasn't like I was learning anything technical, but I wanted to recall just facts about the story and be able to figure out where the main character went or describe the main character.
0% of it.
Zero recall on that. Zero.
I think this might be a thing that we do in the future, possibly. We're basically looking for a way to educate people that isn't normal learning. Like most of the learning that we do is rote learning. Like learning a word is all. Do you memorize that word basically? And we want to do learning in a different way, which would be great. If we could if school time was 2 hours of sitting in a tube and getting neo'd, basically, I know Kung Fu,
right?
That would be fantastic, right? If we currently spend like a fifth of our life in education, maybe more, depending on what you do.
Our process of learning, so slow.
Is so slow, super slow. And the knowledge that we have to be able to work in these environments is going up so fast.
Yep.
Crazy fast. Right now, you have to learn how to learn and unlearn because your job, when you get to do work, you will be not the same that you learned. So part of what you have to do is be able to effectively unlearn what you learned before and relearn this new stuff while on the job.
That's my job.
So,
my job right now, I was hired in to do something completely different, and I saw,
really?
Well, not necessarily completely different, but I saw the way the industry's going, and I've been steering myself to this one end and bringing the managers along behind me, like my director along behind me, saying, this is what we need to be working on. That other stuff that you hired me for is not right. This is and I've got a 5-year plan. Here's my 5-year plan. Here's our budget. Nice. Here's what we're going to do. And here's my staff. We're going to do these. Here's a skill set we're going to need to transition in the next 5 years. This is what
it's going to be totally different.
This is 100%. This world is changing right now.
That's job security right there. That's what you have to do to maintain your job.
If I didn't, we would be as behind in 5 years as I was when I hired in.
Right.
I hired in, and we were behind the curve technologically, and behind the curve in understanding and what we do, and behind the curve in our code, in the code that we were writing, and in our skill set. Like we had a lot of bad stuff happening, right? And I've got us up to where
I think that's the standard for a lot of companies with older management that they learn this way of doing things, and that's it.
Yeah.
That I don't need to unlearn that because this is the way that it is. We're not in that anymore. It can't work.
Right.
Companies die and are born faster now than ever before.
That's right. Yeah, they die and they are born faster. It's true. Yeah.
Reading list for you guys: Brave New World, 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Go read those. Actually, I don't think I have read 1984, so I might have to go read that as well. Shoot, man, Brave New World is a really great one.
Yep.
Also, have you played the game called Soma?
No.
This is really not pertinent. Well, it's because it's named Soma that I think of it now. But it's a game about the difference of living and not living. So you are a cancer patient. I believe you have some terminal illness. You get into a car accident. You get into a car accident and you have brain hemorrhaging going on. And there's a new type of science coming out from these like intern guys, and they're going to take an image of your brain. So and they like take a perfect scan of it, basically. Like if they could put it into another brain, it would be exactly you. It's like really kind of the initial science. And they scan that and they try to find a treatment to reduce the swelling in your brain and save your life. They do that, and your character wakes up in some crazy underwater environment. And what I'm going to spoil Soma for you guys, so if you don't want it, it's a really great game. What happens is that the scan of this guy's brain ends up being like the default for this new technology, and this guy becomes immortal for all intents and purposes, and his brain gets put into a robot body, and he's no longer human, but he doesn't even remember that he's not human. It's really fun. It's really great. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it shouldn't be too much. It's October now, so your scary game should be going on, and it's a spooky game. It's not crazy spooky. It's more of like a storytelling ride. It is underwater, which is like the spookiest environment ever, besides maybe space.
Oh,
Being
underwater?
I think it's a natural thing to be scared of underwater, right? You can't breathe underwater.
Right.
I think that's the thing. Like even if I'm in the bathtub and I put my head underwater, I don't like that very. If I'm swimming around, I go underwater. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not gonna die, but I don't really appreciate the whole underwater experience.
Right.
A whole game set underwater, also kind of spooky too.
Right. It does say the warning for this game. It does say warning. Let me go back to this.
There's a warning. Oh my gosh.
Strong language, violence, blood, and nudity. Yeah.
Is there nudity?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I don't remember there being any nudity in the game, but I guess if there's a warning, there's probably nudity.
Yeah, it does say.
There is a lot of violence. Not a lot of violence. It's mostly you don't have a weapon. I don't think.
One of the videos.
It's a walk around kind of thing. It's like Amnesia. It's a lot like Amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I will play this on stream actually because it's pretty nice. Pretty nice game. I think I own it and I haven't played it through myself.
Yeah, I do not. No, I don't own that. I don't own that one. All right, I have two things that I want to get to beforehand, but
have you? Okay, go ahead. I'll come back.
Ask.
Yeah. Do you have Divinity Original Sin?
No.
The new Divinity game, new RPG, really difficult, focused on storytelling. You can have up to 4 players at the same time. I want to play this game. I'm a really big fan of the first one, but I would like to have at least one other person to play it with. So I'm looking for somebody to play it with. Maybe you. It's kind of expensive. Oh, I have a key for you. Maybe. Yes, I think I actually do have a key for you.
Oh, really?
If you wanted to play it, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we'll do that.
I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty fun.
Divinity Original Sin. Let me make double sure I don't have it because you know how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have Divinity Dragon Commander.
No, that is not it. Dragon Commander.
Divinity Original Sin 2?
Yep.
Okay.
I may have a key for you. Let me see. I'll let you know in a bit. So, but it'd be great to play that. I don't want to play it by myself because it's going to be super fun if we play it multiplayer.
Oh, online multiplayer, huh?
Yes, it has online.
Is it co-op or is it versus?
It's going to be co-op. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it depends how you look at it, Content. When we play things together, we're mostly co-op, but if we bring Wolfie Chan in there, it would definitely be
Screw that guy. I'm kicking the ladder out from under him when he climbs up there.
Or bring Creepy Chief and Beefy.
That was Blooded Broadex.
Oh
like
yeah,
was it you and Broadex that were doing?
Me, Broadex, Wolfie Chan. We're doing Viscera cleanup detail.
Viscera cleanup detail.
Yeah, it will live in the collective memory of our Twitch channels forever.
He jumped into my channel about a week ago today.
Yeah, he's around a little bit. He's coming. He's in and out.
Dipped in. Yeah. And he says, I actually brought that up and actually brought that up about a Fight Club. Is that what's that? Is it called Fight Club?
Oh, yeah, Punch Club.
Punch Club.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call it Fight Club.
He loves Punch Club. Punch Club's quite good.
Yeah.
I talked a lot of sugar about Punch Club when it came out because it's a Flash game. In my mind, it's a Flash game.
You were right on. You were right on with your diagnosis, but then it's a little deeper than you thought.
It has it's very high quality, and it actually is pretty long, I would say.
Yeah.
So it is worth a $3 or $4 price tag, I would say. It's pretty good.
Yeah, $5 deal. Yeah.
I'm excited for Robot Fight. What, Jason?
Robot Fight.
Y'all playing New Divinity? Yeah, we might do. Jason, have you been playing New Divinity?
I've not.
Apparently. Yeah, he has been. I'm excited for Robot Fight.
Something I've been doing on my streams has been really good. You can tell me if you like this idea. Speaking of doing co-op stuff.
I know you've been doing Song Request.
Song Request. So, here's the deal. Copyrights, I was anti-copyrights because I was really working on, I wanted to save a bunch of highlights, right?
Right.
And if we're doing something really cool and I want to grab a highlight of it, and I'm playing some sort of song in the background, audio's gone.
Doesn't work for YouTube, right?
Doesn't work, right? Factorio, the highlights are few and far between.
Because it's kind of,
your YouTube presence is either live or a tutorial.
Right. I agree.
There's no funny there. If you go out there and say Factorio funny highlights, Shred Guy has some. That's about it. That's not that deal. If you go out there and you say Grand Theft Auto highlights, funny highlights,
yes,
there's
funny
a
highlight.
right?
Funny moments.
Funny moments. There's so much more comedy you can do outside of Factorio. So I just said, all right, screw it. We're going to make, when we're doing Factorio, I'm going to be more like Warwitch. And say,
see, that's how Whiskey Witch feels. Because I'm about the live environment.
That's right now. That's
me.
it. I'm not even looking toward YouTube. I'm not looking to save anything. You be here when I'm here. You be here right now. Nothing
right.
permanent. Nothing permanent. We're just going to
that's
burn
how
out
he does
right
his
here.
Thing.
Right. And so I just said, hey, we're doing song requests because and then also I turned song requests on its head again. And
as you do.
And as I do, and said not just the first couple were song requests where people were bringing me some, just playing their songs, and then we would talk about them or whatever. Some folks introduced me to some new stuff, and some folks doing some troll songs, and some folks had a song that had in the first 30 seconds there was 81 N bombs, and so I have to go just do it. So my philosophy on the song request, dig this. I made it a gamble, like every other thing in the channel.
Okay.
You can buy this. They all cost, even if you're a sub. Song request cost. Okay. Yeah, YouTube is worthwhile. We'll put a pin in that, Max. Badger has some good stuff on YouTube. But here's the thing: is song requests all cost? There has to be a request for interrupting the show or putting your thing in there. So it's more for it's less for subs and more for non-subs, right? But either I will hate it and you lose your money.
Right. I like this thing that you have going on.
It will
I
be
read it a little bit.
It will be okay, and I will ignore it.
Right. That's how most of my song requests are too.
If I really like it, then I will give you your money back or double it back and say, give me some more. I like that, and I'll add it to you, right? And so
I like that.
And so my challenge to my viewers is bring me good music that you think I will like. And by the way,
that's mostly what I do too.
Song requests,
I don't pay out people though.
Song requests are not about you; they're about me.
About me. I heard you say that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Song requests are for me, not for you.
They're not for you. They're
so,
for me.
Speaking of song requests, this Twitch affiliate right here, I just posted the link in chat.
Froggy's Army
got permanently banned from Twitch with no warning because she got some copyright strikes on Twitch.
Really?
Yes. So in the past 3 weeks or so, they have been banning people indiscriminately for playing copyrighted music on stream. So now may have been the worst possible time for you to get into playing copyrighted music.
All right.
I have totally sworn off playing copyrighted music again because I had the same thing as you. Like, I'm not playing copyrighted music ever when it was super chill to do so. And then they were just like, oh, we're just gonna mute VODs. Now Warwitch is also in this thread, by the way. If you click on this and you read down, Warwitch is like, whoa. I can't play copyrighted music anymore.
Right.
So he's not playing copyrighted music anymore also because he doesn't want to get ninja banned.
Me either.
So this is a big thing. Kurt asked me why I haven't done anything in YouTube in a while. I have not been happy with the things. I've been trying to do XCOM, and I haven't been happy how they've been turning out, so I haven't felt like I wanted to post anything.
Right.
That's why I haven't done YouTube.
All right. Well, I would like to announce as of today, song requests are over.
You picked the wrong time to get into song requests because I've been
when I go back to Grand Theft Auto or when I go back to
it's true.
Another game, I go back to these I have drum beats going on in the background. You probably can't hear them, but I just have these little NCR, non-copyright drum beats or whatever.
There is lots of non-copyright music out there. But also, I found this out. Spotify's terms of service says that you cannot use Spotify for commercial use.
Right.
So regardless if it's non-copyright or not, you're not allowed to use Spotify to play.
Right.
Which I don't know how they would know.
Hello, you're listening to Spotify.
Spotify. Yeah, I don't have ads on my Spotify, so I'm going to continue to ignore that. Not that I use Spotify, because I don't.
All right.
So there's some shenanigans going on. You might want to look in that thread a little bit. We'll see which is in that
there's no looking into it. I would like to announce as of today, there is no more song requests.
Yeah, I luckily have this. Archetype Gaming is really good for this kind of information. I got this from Megna, so
Is it perma-banned or is it a one-day ban or what you get?
That person is permanently banned. And permanently banned may include your IP from using Twitch. you may not be able to. That person probably can't even look at a Twitch stream anymore. They can't use their account anymore. Pretty insane.
Yeah,
they were an affiliate as well, so that they weren't a nobody. They weren't just maybe I don't know how your channel. I don't know how. It's a bit strange. I guess the algorithm just picked that person out, right?
And that was from 11th October. That was yesterday. She tweeted it anyway.
Yeah. So this is
indefinitely suspended.
Right, with no warning. And also the message says with no warning in particular. So no music now, right? So no non-copyrighted music. No, wait. I'm sorry. No copyrighted music.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go delete my VODs tonight.
And I think you're fine. If at this point, if you haven't been banned, I don't think the algorithm is gonna go through VODs and check. It's only checking live. It's too much.
Really? Well, I don't have anything in those VODs that I want.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. Yeah. So I got lucky because I haven't been doing Song Quest for the past week or so. So I'm. Yeah, I mean, getting your channel just indefinitely suspended for no reason with nothing to say back. Twitch is just like, hey, you're not worth it. We're just gonna suspend you because they don't want any DMCA strikes against us because they're liable when it comes down to it.
Yeah,
like you're liable, yes, but also they are as well.
Done.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. See ya.
We were just having. Oh man, I had this really good idea about Song Quest. It's really fun. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh yeah, I did.
You were playing Michael Jackson the other day, and I think this is actually the same copyright holders.
Woo! All right. Well, those are all gone.
Digital Millennium. I think those are the same guys.
Wow, those are all gone. I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened.
Yeah, so we won't have Storm Quest on my stream, to say the least.
Yep.
You probably could get away with other things. Like sound drops are probably still fine and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, if it doesn't trigger it, yeah.
You know, probably we talked about this exact event happening 60 weeks ago.
Did we?
We were saying that, hey, Twitch is eventually going to crack down on this. Yes, you're getting away with playing copyrighted music right now, but eventually you will not be anymore.
Right.
And they will start banning people. And this is when we were both super
new into it.
I'm not breaking any copyright. Right. I was new into it, definitely, for sure. And now we're going to have to go back to that mentality because, yeah, they're cracking down on it. Like, YouTube's cracking down on it. Well, the YouTube system is way better. The YouTube is like, hey, you just don't make money off this video.
Right.
Twitch is like, hey, you're banned permanently.
Hey, you're out of here forever.
It seems like you're just kind of stabbing. I mean, they got to rework how they're doing it because they're just like, oh, content creator who makes content for my website, get wrecked. Right. No ads for you.
Fortnite. Okay. All right.
But
so
you agree to hold them in indemnification, assume legal liability. Yeah, sure, but it's like it's the ad, it's the sponsor thing, right? If a sponsor feels like their music and their copyright is being broken on Twitch, they won't put ads on there. Right. And that's it. So here, Warlock. Well, it's not an article. We're talking about a specific tweet from a person. There's a lot that procs off that, Warlocks. Right. You want to read into it a little bit, and there's like a lot of Twitch staff that have weighed in on this. And basically, I mean, all the Twitch staff has said, yes, you can get banned for playing copyrighted music. Duh, has been a thing forever. Right. But it's been a more prominent thing in the recent days. Yeah. So just be careful.
Oh, I mean, there's no carefuling. Right, we're going way back and behind the line. It's over.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Here's the line. Oh, we're here.
We're way over here.
We're not playing any music.
We're not playing
There's no sound on my stream at all.
Yep. All you're gonna hear from me is
no game sound, because who knows, right? Game sound could be copyrighted by some giant mega company. I don't know.
Yep. All right. Everything on my past broadcasts, my videos.
You just went and deleted it right now.
Yeah. I did. Everything that had the muted audio on it, gone.
Well, that's an interesting idea. West Dude says they should come up with like a monthly fee that you pay to get copyrighted songs. Well, I'd be down with that.
Well,
I think the issue, the issue with that is that they would want an exorbitant amount, right? They would want $100 a month.
$10.
Looking for.
$10 a month.
Well, I mean that would be the reasonable price. to have.
Pandora, esque, right?
Right. Well, even Pandora doesn't allow you commercial use though, because like a commercial license,
use, right,
is way different than. Because if I get a $10 library of all of Michael Jackson's music to play in my stream, holy crapazoid.
Done. Right.
That's my stream now.
That's my stream, yeah.
the video game Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
It's
like,
MJ night, and then I'm dressing like MJ. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could make a lot of money off that. Way more than $10, that's for sure.
Right.
Like GTA does have copyrighted music, both their own copyright and as well as other copyright holders.
Right. All right. Well, there you go. End of that. The idea that I had that we will not do now. You want to hear my idea?
I saw your idea. Oh, I think I saw it. Unless it's something that you had gone beyond that.
No, it was the idea with you was that at some point what we would do is either probably not on Enough About You because this is reserved for other platforms and all of that business. Right, we want that to go to YouTube. We want that to go out to.
I like having a permanent VOD, all the things that we've talked about.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody has watched every single episode. I'm positive.
Yeah, so the
shout out to you. Every episode watcher.
You know who you are.
There's a lot of content. I mean,
it's a lot of
we've
good
done
stuff.
this 81 episodes now.
So the issue, what I was thinking about doing is if copywritten music was okay, my idea was we were going to have like song moment or something like that, or it's like your music today, your music now or something like that. I was thinking of the name, but basically,
Kids Pop Now.
You and I bring in one song apiece that is significant from your life. And then you tell a story. It's like, look, there's a song that I really liked because it reminds me of when I was in the military, and I remember being in Iraq one time.
Oh,
and here's a story about
those songs.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then you would tell a story where this song reminded you of, and then we would play the song, we'd listen to it, and we would just enjoy that 4.5 minutes with the viewers.
That would be awesome.
You would tell a 4 or 5 minute story, and then you'd play that. You'd say, and here it is.
Here's the song. That
Elton John, Private Dancer. And then.
That might be a Leave. That's a Leave song.
Right. And then I would bring in one, and then I would tell a story, and I would play a song, and then that would be it. It would be like kind of like a 20-minute bit where you have 10 minutes, 5 for a story, 5 for, and then we would just do a song.
That's a great idea because songs definitely bring about memories. So speaking of this, in my vehicle, a Cougar, we had an internal radio system so that I could speak into a microphone and my gunner could hear me, and vice versa, and everyone in the vehicle who had a headset on could hear me. What I did with that system is I rewired it so that I could have an iPod,
of course,
plugged into it. Yeah. And so we were the only vehicle in the fleet where you could come in with your iPod, plug it into the aux cable, and then boom, everyone you basically had song requests in our vehicle, and that actually got my vehicle both in trouble and out of trouble at the same time.
Yep.
Because it got found out pretty quickly, and then I had to rewire up other people's vehicles immediately because platoon sergeant came to me and was like, "Hey, you can't have that. Do it in my vehicle right now." Like, okay, fair enough. And then also Lieutenant Kane finds about it. I was like, "Hey, you can't have that. I'm riding in your vehicle. We're to do some requests, okay?"
Right.
And so we ended up ferrying all the officers and stuff because of that.
Right.
And we listened to some great music, man. It was awesome.
That is the greatest thing is, hey, you can't do that. Do it in my vehicle right now.
Come do it in my vehicle right now. Okay, Sergeant. You got it. I understand. So, yeah. I mean, I didn't have any really good equipment to do this with either. So it was like tape and stuff and shoddy workmanship. I was like using a knife to get the wires all touched up. And I don't know how many aux cables I had to cut up.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of really fun songs I have for that. Like, oh, man, my truck commander, Sergeant Griffin, he loved like metal and pretty much songs about killing people and stuff like that. So while driving down the streets of Baghdad, we were listening to a lot of Death is Automatic and I can't remember all the band's name that he really liked. There's some good stuff there. Max asked, I want to know stuff like Persona, how music's handled there. So Max, I want you to understand that if I were to go and play XCOM on stream right now, the copyright holders for XCOM, the guys who own that game, could come to me and say, "Hey, you cannot play our game on stream."
Right.
And that would be it. I would have no defense against that. They can just say that. So anybody who holds a copyright on something, there's a difference between enforcement and
right.
And enforcement is super important, right? So the Persona guys who own Persona, not even just their music, can go and say, "Hey, you can't stream my game." In particular, you human being. Meanwhile, literally 500 other people are streaming the game at the same time. Copyright is very flexible in that way. And what's going on with the music?
Right. You have to. The copyright holder it's only a copyright until the holder exercises it. That's
yes,
it.
That's exactly right. So what's going on right now is that they are actually enforcing their copyright right now.
Yeah.
They are feeling so threatened that they are actually going to streams and shutting them down because of this copyright infringement.
Right.
So can you get away with playing video games on the internet? Yes. Can you legally be taken down for it? Yes.
Yes, you can. And here's the thing is, okay, if, get this, speaking of copyright law, I have a buddy who works actually at a paper. He actually works at a paper. They still have those.
Really
and he says he could write a favorable ad about a restaurant he reviewed. Okay.
Sure.
And glowing
remember
ad.
this. I think we talked about this
if
before,
that restaurant takes that paper and puts it up in their restaurant,
yep,
that is a copyright violation. And
that you can't do that.
The paper could legally enforce their copyright and say, "Hey, you must take that down." They would go to court, and the court would say, "Yes, they're right. You have to take that down."
That's their copyright, right?
The issue is,
so in our minds, that's ridiculous. Why would they want that?
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot of steps to be done there. And
no one wants that.
It's free advertising and stuff like that.
Right.
But that's the letter of the law in this case.
The letter of the law is the copyright holder is that content is owned by the paper, and they're using it in a commercial
use.
Publish
that
to publish that in their restaurant, which they're selling stuff and making money off of good reviews. Right. That is the whole thing. But yeah, you're correct. The restaurant would never take it down, or the restaurant wants it up there because they want the pub, and the newspaper wants it up there because I'm eating at a Whataburger and I'm reading a newspaper that published some good content.
This town, right? Exactly. So maybe I'll read that again. So that works out, right?
It's a win-win.
The copyright, it gives you that. It's this weird enforcement thing that ends up happening.
So so specifically in that case, and if you look in most restaurants, they'll have a review that's posted up there that's good, and no one enforces it. But there is copyright violation is taking place right there, right? So.
Max says, "I believe information should spread around and not be contained at all costs." I think that is a. So I'm trying not to say anything about Max. I think that belief is commonly held by young people and less often held by older people.
Yeah, idiots.
So I think the reason for that is because older people have made things that they have ownership of, and they don't want to be out. They want to take credit for their work. They want to do things like that, and the younger people don't have any of that, and they have this whole body of work that they haven't been able to touch, because these older people have that. So I think definitely this is actually just statistically true. As people get older, they get more strict on this kind of freedom of information, and they believe that things that they have worked on shouldn't be free.
Mm-hmm.
And then as people are younger, they believe that freedom of information should be more of a thing. So I think that's how I always think about things. Right now, I'm totally for... man, I have this since I was young. I had this feeling that everything should be free. Like anything that's easily reproducible, like digital content. Like if you have a video game and it's not free, you're doing it wrong. Like your video game should just be free, and then people should pay for it if they want to. That's like this belief that I've held for a really long time, and I understand that belief may change in the future. So just keep that in mind. But things should be free.
Yeah,
like if you're Michael Jackson's,
that's a very Star Trekian kind of deal.
It is, right? Like food, water, supplies, education. That's all free. You can just have that.
And what's her name? I remember in the worst of the Star Trek, Star Trek 4.
Star Trek 4.
With the whales.
Like Star Wars 4?
Star Trek 4.
Oh, yes, the movie. Oh, man, I don't actually think I've seen those.
They go back in time.
Right. Roll eyes, because you can do that. You have teleporters. You can do whatever you want.
Right. And then Kirk meets this one lady who's going to help him get the whales, and they go for pizza and beer. And she looks across the table at him. They go to go have dinner or something. They look across the table, and he says, he just lays it on the table like, look, I'm from Earth 23, whatever.
Okay.
I've come back in time to do this. And she said...
Which is something you should never do if you're a time traveler.
Right,
okay?
right. 100%.
Not because you're going to get busted, but because no one will ever believe you.
Ever.
It's kind of like the thing, right?
And then she says, I suppose in your time they don't have money either. I guess I'm paying. Right? And he says, we don't. He's like,
we don't have money. How did you know?
And so she's like, oh, yeah, crap.
Figures.
Which, that's probably one of the only things I remember about that movie, because it was not a very good Star Trek, but...
No. Not a good Star Trek, a low-level Star Trek?
It was a low-level.
I think it's a low-budget Star Trek because you got to
Yeah.
use scenery from the current time rather
Yes.
than using future scenery.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, to bring it back around to why we assume that the aliens are humanoid is because that's what we have the budget for. We do not have the budget to make a metallic alien that breathes methane.
We have the
budget.
Difficult.
We do have the budget to put $91 of putty on Homeboy's face.
Literally putty.
And paint him up green so that he looks like an alien.
Ish. A human alien-ish. Gene Roddenberry was a huge communist, apparently. Okay. I mean, it makes sense that a future society where money isn't, where you don't need, where no one is ever going to go hungry doesn't have money, right?
And
there's power is free and infinite.
And if power is free, and essentially if energy is so cheap enough to where it's
so cheap, it's so cheap that it's pointless to charge for it, right? That's the thing. Where you can't make money off selling energy anymore,
right? Because
you can't make money off selling water anymore,
right? By the way,
it's not worth it.
By the way, that's what's going to happen with energy. I think it might even be in our lifetime. Is that we'll figure out solar, or we'll figure out plasma, or we'll figure out something, and energy companies that sell
energy by the watt or whatever.
By
they're
the
just
watt,
gonna be like, well, my business is no longer sustainable because it's so cheap. I can't even pay the secretary to sit here.
I can't make it up off volume, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
at that point, it's going to be a federal thing. It's going to be
it moves. Common carrier.
A federal thing.
Common carrier.
I probably think I think it's going to be like world government at that point when everyone is when one guy builds this generator that's like this size and it's powering the city of Moscow. Like it's not going to be an issue anymore.
Right.
Where it's going to be everything's going to be
heating
cohesive.
and cooling is no big deal. And so then by that same regard, if you figure out how to convert, like in Star Trek, they essentially turn power into matter, right?
Right. Which, I mean, that costs power, right? Man, the amount of power that you would need to turn something to rearrange atoms is madness.
It's madness. But if that is so cheap, and your average person can do it, then possessions are kind of all out the window too, right?
It's only sentimentality that matters at that point, right?
Right.
I've had this teacup for 60 years. It's my grandpa's, and they didn't even have replication then.
Right.
Then that has some
right. This is an authentic,
value.
unreplicated
World
War II vintage
That's going to be the
rifle.
hipster thing.
Yeah.
No, I only eat unreplicated food.
Right.
I don't like that processed stuff.
Right.
Even though it's literally the atoms are rearranged to be the same thing.
Right. All right.
Exactly. Have you seen how big Moscow is? It's an example, Max.
It's
I have not
example,
seen how big Moscow is. Have you seen how big Houston is?
Yeah. The
have you seen how
no.
big New York is? New York is huge. Jeez.
I've seen how big Vegas is.
Vegas isn't that big.
It's not. It's
really not.
I've actually walked it. Yeah.
Have you been to New York though?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
That's freaking. That's freaking huge.
I've never been to Washington State, and I have never been into the central north of America, but I've been pretty much everywhere else in America. At least driven through. I spent time in Florida. I've spent time in California. I spent time in New York. I was in New York for a junior RO2C competition at one point. Man, I don't know if I've been in New Jersey. I don't think I've been in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been pretty much everywhere in America.
Before kids, one of our anniversaries, we took a 2-week trip, and me and the wife flew up to New York, landed in New York, and then immediately drove north out of it. And then we just kind of did this thing up through New England, like Connecticut, Massachusetts.
You're just on a vacation?
Maine,
driving around for the levels?
Delaware, Vermont, Maine, and then we circled back through New York State. And actually, I stayed overnight at a buddy's house. This is a great story. So the same way that I have this incredible story about how Ox and I met in person, I actually went to go see him at a bar, and he was having to introduce me to his work buddies as, hey, I met this guy on the internet. This is the first time I've seen him.
First time I've seen him. I'm introducing. I know him pretty well. But,
I know him pretty well. This is the first time I've seen him in person. And, so there's that thing where he's having to. I met this dude online. No, we're not gay. It's through game. It wasn't through Tinder, right?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
A little column A. I'm not saying $20 is $20, and he's pretty handsome. So
we can do the double Dutch rudder. We've already talked about this. I'm not touching his dick. He's not touching my dick. It's fine. How do we always come up to this? I don't understand.
So the same thing. I had a buddy that I played I was in the beta with in World of Warcraft beta.
No, you guys are total. Okay.
And the wife and I went up there and stayed at his place in upstate New York.
And then he murdered you.
No, he was. he said.
Don't you tell me he was a totally normal person. He was playing the World of Warcraft beta.
Yeah.
Actually, Clowntown, I don't know if I know who you are anymore right now.
I was in the World of Warcraft. Hey,
yeah,
you look at my best. You say, what is your number one gaming experience ever in your life?
Is WoW, really?
It was the World of Warcraft Alpha Friends and Family.
Wow. That's crazy.
I was immediately gifted into the beta as well. I was in the Alpha Friends and Family. I mean, I was one of the first 200 people to log into World of Warcraft.
That is nuts. Shady Lady is so pissed right now.
Yeah.
She probably can't even hear us, but she's so angry right now.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing WoW this second.
Right this second, yeah. I 100%. And we would out-level the spells. Like, they hadn't even written the spells, and we would out-level our character up past the spells. Yeah.
Hey, Jason. We're talking about the World of Warcraft beta, duh.
World of Warcraft. I got into the World of Warcraft Alpha Friends and Family. I was one of the first 200
Can you tell us how
people.
You did that? Who did you to get into there?
So me and my buddy.
The interesting thing about a game in beta, no one even cared at that point, right?
Oh yeah.
Like it's not until later where that's like a big thing, right?
Oh,
not even mad. Not even. How are you not even mad?
How huge, seeing how huge EverQuest was, and then getting into WoW,
right.
I thought,
okay,
WoW is gonna be madness. And they fixed everything that was bad, everything that sucked about EverQuest. EverQuest was wonderful, but there's a lot of things that sucked.
EverQuest 2 is better though.
No. Everything that was horrible about EverQuest, they fixed and they executed it perfectly in World of Warcraft.
I mean, I remember playing EverQuest. I remember playing EverQuest on my PlayStation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had to get a job. I had to get a job.
A job.
And by the way, I quit when they asked me to start paying for it when they went production. That's when I quit. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep. Because Alpha
Good
was free and Beta was free for this one little group, and they opened up Beta and everything.
So, in the third quarter,
it was amazing.
It was amazing. 2010, World of Warcraft hit 12 million subscribers, not players.
Right.
Subscribers. That is larger than most countries.
Yeah.
In the world.
Oh yeah.
So
that's half of Moscow.
Right. Yeah, something like that. So it's larger than most countries in the world, I believe. 12 million subscribers. So the population was probably 3 times. I mean, I don't know. I guess you had to pay to play. So
right.
There's 12 million people who were playing. So I have a theory, and there's a couple books written about this theory, is that because this 12 million people are populating this, that has its own economy, like its actual legitimate economy. Gold miners, right?
Uh-huh.
And gold miners have their association with players, and there's kind of a thing going on there. So you have 4 million now. Let's say 500,000, 20,000 people, somewhere in that range, who are working as gold miners for this game, and they have their own kind of society going on, and they need their own union and stuff like that. It starts becoming a country in of itself,
right? Because
you have the regulators who own the game, and then also the kind of criminal sort of element that exists, and it exists in the real world and also in the game world. It's pretty incredible.
It starts out as a community,
at one point, right,
and then it builds into an organization, and then it builds into like, hey, there's this whole other, I guess you could call it a state, right?
Sure.
It's because you stop being a community of just like-minded people, and you start having to put in rules, right? And like you have to put in ordinance of this thing, right? And you
can't do gold mining, you can't do botting, these things,
and
right?
They split off into their factions. I'm with this group. I'm with this group. I'm in the oversight. I support these guys, and there starts being this little ecosystem. Maybe an ecosystem might be a better thing, right?
Right, and you all have to exist in that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like at some point there's going to be countries that are overshadowed by these video games, these massively multiplayer online video games, and it's going to transcend borders and become countries of their own and governments of their own.
Online governments.
Right, and exist in a way that no other country has ever done before.
Right. I would say so.
I don't know what epidemic is. So there's a couple books on this, and I can't remember the names of the books, but I'll see if I can.
Yep. When there was a huge epidemic. I don't know.
I don't know epidemic.
But yeah, that was probably my best gaming experience that I've ever had was the WoW Alpha Friends and Family.
That's pretty cool.
No kids.
Best gaming experience ever.
Hey,
no kids.
No kids online.
No free trial accounts.
No trolls.
See, EVE Online isn't big enough for that though. EVE Online is so. I mean, it has to be
everybody.
A huge population of people.
Everybody that was there to make the game better. Everyone was lighthearted and friendly. Everyone was on board with the vision. Like everybody there was one. I knew my buddy
There's only
knew
one
of
server,
the. My buddy knew the community one of the community managers that worked at Blizzard, and so he says.
How big is EVE?
He says, I'll take 2 tickets. I'll take 2 keys, please. Or I'll take 2. I guess they had keys. I'll take 2 keys, please. They were also the first the first major game to use BitTorrent to distribute it, the BitTorrent technology. Because I remember every time there was an EverQuest patch, we would have to wait forever on patch day. Patch day was just a down day. You just never do it, right? But then we would do on World of Warcraft day, no big deal. Patch day was just done because the first person would get it, and then BitTorrent was more peer hosted, right? It would just right. It's super good.
Yeah, looks like EVE Online only has like 50,000 players.
Yeah,
on one server.
Had a couple buddies. Like I think Grief and Wolf were into EVE Online for a while. I think.
Yeah, EVE Online is cool. It's if you have a job and you want to come home and you want to do another job, EVE Online.
Right. Yeah,
if you need a second job.
If you can't get out of if you can't get enough work, then
just come home and do another job. Be a shareholder, be a CEO for an online video gaming company. It looks like it has like 300,000 subscribers. Sorry. At some point, that's not.
All right. What do you guys?
Million.
What do you guys want to hear? I have an update on Vegas that I think is interesting. An update on Puerto Rico that is unfounded.
Yeah, Kurt, that's well said.
And
the companies make their own money.
Or the story from the airplane on the way back from Hungary, where I almost got in a fist fight on the plane.
You almost got into a fist fight as an adult?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, as a practitioner of jiu-jitsu, you
no, I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu at this point.
Oh, okay.
But I was in shape, and the guy that I was about to throw down on was, I want to say he was in his late 60s, and he was not in shape. And I was about
60. You were about to beat up a 6-year-old man.
100%.
Because he said your mom was ugly.
No.
So he slapped your girlfriend's ass.
Fist fight. Okay. All right.
Fist fight.
This next story contains graphic language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Graphic language.
So, I was in Hungary, and I was coming home. And let's play this.
Tell us how you're so mad you punched your last door and blamed it on some random guy.
Oh yeah, no, not that one. That's good with Kurt. So I was in Hungary, and you know how at the front on a really big plane, I'm going to call it it's a 737, and I think it's a 343. Oh yeah, let me go get a picture of that plane. I booked my flight, and it was three people in our row. 737 seating map, we'll call it. Let me see if I can find this in the plane. And I want to describe to you why I wanted to move so badly. Might be a 747.
Really? Wanted to move. Where were you living at the time?
I wanted to move seats really badly.
Oh, move seats.
Right. I was at the. Let's see if I can find this. If I can zoom in. Yes. Okay. Stand by. Let me save this image. Okay. Let me put this. We'll do a visual aid. So I was sitting with a couple, nice couple, and we're on the plane, and we're filling up. I was about kind of in the middle group to get on the plane, and the flight it was not empty, but it was not quite full. Okay. So it looked, for as many people that had got on compared to the line outside, it looked like there was going to be empty seats, which is a which is a complete sin in the airline world. But apparently, they underbooked this flight or something. It's a big flight. So
underbooked it. Nice.
Yeah. So, but I was booked at, and let me see if I can zoom in on this picture, because where I'm seated provides the motivation for me to move. All right. So let's do this. Let's put this really big. All right. So I'm at this front row, at the very middle of the green, the dark green here. So you see in the dark green, there is a section of what looks like the kitchen area and where the flight attendants hang out. Okay. So
okay, right. Yeah, the little,
right.
kitchen area. I guess it's a kitchen area. Yeah, okay.
Right. So my seat was on the aisle corner right facing them. So if you look at the top row of seats, the 3 row, against the window was the lady, in the middle was the guy, and then me, I'm on the aisle. So my feet are essentially pushing into this kitchen area.
Weird. Okay.
So there's no help for me to stretch out because people are going to be walking in. There's restrooms in there, and then there's the kitchen area, whatever. And it's lit. It's lit, and this is a night flight, so it's gonna be an issue, right? So, and I'm on that row that is right next to. So you see that red triangle, the center top red triangle, the row of green seats immediately to the right. I'm on that front row. And I'm going, okay. I want to move big time. So the whole time I've got my head craned around looking for an open spot. Okay. So that's how we go.
It's underbooked there, right?
It's underbooked, right? So I'm going, okay, I need to move, but I need that door to close, because once the door's closed, we're locked in, and then I can get up. I can ask the flight attendant to say, okay, can I move? Yeah, okay, we're free to do it, right? And I can
sure,
bug it,
right?
So it's like it's waiting game, and I'm going, okay, I got to be the first one to get up, right? Because if there's an open row, someone's going to jump in it as soon as it happens. So I've got my eye way up there, and I'm standing up, and I'm walking around. I got my stuff there. Okay, I've got my stuff, and I'm ready to go. I haven't packed in yet. And put it away. And so, and I'm standing, and then I hear, and I went immediately. I went across the aisle, up through there, and looked down to see the door had closed. So then I went to the flight attendant lady, and I said, hey, is the door closed? We're all good? We're all booked in here? Yes, sir. I said, can I find another seat if it's open? She said, yep, you're free to move out.
Nice.
Hot dog. Okay. So I moved 2 rows back to an empty row. Empty row for an international flight.
Nice. Very nice.
You know? So it's on, and I'm overjoyed. And I turned to my traveling partners, the married couple, and I said, guys, good news. I'm going to give you guys a row to yourself. She said I could move. No hard feelings. You guys enjoy your flight. I'm going back here. You guys are certainly nice, no big deal, but if you got a row to your own, and I said, I guess you guys could also appreciate the whole row to yourself. She says, they said, sure. Absolutely.
Get out of my seat. I would be happy to have you leave.
And they said, absolutely, thank you very much. You're awesome. We high-fived, and I went back there, and I sat. Okay, so here's the thing. There's still some movement on the plane.
Sure.
So what seat do I sit in that open row?
You sit in the seat closest to the walkway, so no one sits near you.
In the aisle, yes, you got it. You block. Right,
blocking it. No, you're like, no.
Yes.
That's what you do in a school bus. You get onto the school bus,
yep.
and you're sitting down in a seat, and you're like, nope.
Yep. You do not slide over to the window. No.
Nope.
Wrong.
Nope. I'm on the aisle seat, and then once everything's settled down, you know no more people are getting picked up, and then you just go to the window seat.
Yes, exactly. You got it.
This is what you do when you're an asshole.
Or when you want a row to yourself. So I sit on the aisle, okay, and here we go. And so we take off, right? And so buckle in, take it off, and I'm going. I'm down like that.
You're lifting all the little armrests up so you can lay down.
Right. and so then they bring the dinner, and nice. I have dinner. No problem.
Dinner on planes.
Yeah. I pick and choose what I got because
it's
all right. It's like the MRE. You do what you can, right? So
yeah, you
do what you can.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Great metaphor.
You do what you can.
Simile, whatever it is.
So so I picked that out, and then I'm going, okay, well, here we go. It's time for me to, I'm going to put my headphones in, and I'm going to get my blinders. You know, I have my little eye blinders, and I'm just going to pull up a song on my iPod, and then I'm going to unbuckle my seat, and I'm going to stretch out. Excuse me while I stretch out. Why don't I stretch right out? Ha, 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 right?
Cool.
So I put my blinder, I'm doing this. You know, I got my thing on here, right? My business, yeah. Right? I put my earbuds in, and then I'm kind of scrolling through my little iPod right here, and I'm getting my thing on, and I've kind of got my blinders. Actually, I guess you could say I'm doing like this. I got my blinders up on my head, right?
Sure. You're not quite blind yet.
And I'm looking in, and then a guy comes up to me and taps me on the shoulder, and he says, like this, and he points, and he says something inaudible, and I looked up and I said, what? And he says, you know, hey, and he points to the seat next to me, over me, because I still haven't moved. I'm on the aisle. He points in the center seat.
Right.
And I said, no. And he says,
No.
He says, no, I want to sit there.
No.
And I said, no. And he says, yeah, I want to sit there. And I'm blocking him. I've got my tray down, and he can't get over me, right? And so he says, well, I want to sit there. And I suppose I should have not just had the conflict there, because that's where I gave him an inch, and I should have not. So here's the thing. I can't call in arbitration, because it's not my seat either.
Sure, yeah. If
Right?
you were to call in the authorities, you're like, no, go back to your seat then.
If I get in conflict at all, I'm going to get evicted back to my seat, and then leave that we're both going to lose, right?
Yeah.
So now
gotta sell this yourself. Punch him right in the face, Clowntown.
right. So then I said, there's no way I'm letting him get in the center, because I want him to leave. I want him to leave, right? Right. And so then I just say, okay. So I take my bag and I move my bag to the window, and then I move to the center. So I'm gonna have to share this thing, I'm taking the 2 and he's taking the 1. Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna block it. I'm gonna keep it blocked, but I'm gonna block one in, right?
Okay.
So then she comes around for drinks, right? And then this dude is, you know, we're kind of jockeying for position on the armrest. Not really.
Oh my God! Already.
Already. And so then I come up and I'm going, hey, you know, I'm looking. I just start looking at him, right? And then I think, okay, well, if he gets up, like, I've got to put something there. Right? I've got to get him out of here, right? I got to do something, right? So while he's sitting there, I try and whip up some good gas, or
You're coming up with a plan to get this.
I'm coming up with a plan to get him out of here, because I want to stretch out.
Oh my God, Clowntown.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So I couldn't. No gas to be had. Usually the plane is gas central because of the pressure changes and all that other stuff, and the food that probably ate. I couldn't get any of that business.
Okay.
But I had a plan. So then I said, well, okay, I'm a grinder. I'm a war of attrition. I'm just going to wait him out. So I said, okay, fine. I'm going to sit right here. I'll sleep like this. So I put my blinders back on, put my earbuds in.
Okay.
And I do this.
This is a ridiculous story.
Right. Okay. Now here's the thing. Now watch what happens. So then I'm asleep. I'm trying to close I'm just going to doze off, and I have a little pillow, you know, a little neck pillow right here.
Yeah, those things are amazing.
Oh, so good, right?
Godsends.
So then,
so good.
So then, and by the way, and just granted, we're in foreign territory, right? We're both in the demilitarized zone. We have no legal claim here,
You're
right? So any authorities, we're gonna get busted. But here's what starts happening. Okay, so I'm laying, I'm doing my thing.
You're slowly gyrating? Why you're just wiggling slightly? What are you having a seizure? Why are you doing that? I don't understand. I've never played near a clown. No kidding. He's a little child.
And then I raise up my glasses because the whole seat is shaking. And I look over.
You're shaking.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
The seat.
Jerking his leg around?
The seat is shaking.
The seat. Okay, you're not shaking.
And I look over at him, and he is going into full itch mode. Like he's
just he's playing you. He's like, yeah. I'm gonna get this guy out of here. I'm gonna itch.
And
so
in the
hard.
meantime, I'm trying to sleep. And
He's wrecking you. He's got you so bad. He's doing the war attrition against you. You thought you had him.
Yeah,
He was a
that's
player.
right.
You didn't even know.
That's right.
Masturbate and don't make eye contact. Holy crap.
And
Kurt,
so
that
then,
escalated
yeah,
quickly.
and so then that's where I start. And so then I put my thing up here, and I put my blinder back up, and then I just turn and I do this business like this. Like I turn and just
And
look.
you're
at
like,
him.
really? Like for real? You itching right now so
that what
hard?
you're
You're
doing?
shaking the whole plane. You're shaking the whole plane.
He looks back at me for just a split second, and then
I
turns.
was like,
the
what's
other
up?
way.
And
And
itching?
and then he just continues itching, and then
He's itchy.
And then yeah, what's he got? Do I have it now? Is that
You
well,
got it now. You were
I
near
guess.
him.
Right?
You got it.
So then
you got it your whole life
So
now.
I'm like, well, okay.
got
So
AIDS.
now the tea kettle's boy. Tea kettle's boy. All right. So that goes on, and then he stops. Okay. Then it stops.
Okay.
I swear it was a good 18 minutes of itching, of shaking and itching. Right. So then, okay. So then I go back, and then I.
so upset right now.
Right. Oh man.
You're so upset.
Right. It was only
At
almost
this
a
point,
fist
I
fight.
mean,
Right.
is
So
all-
then I go
What
back,
is-
and then I actually do doze off. I don't know how long I was
okay.
asleep. I don't know
managed to
how
fall
long I
asleep.
sleep, but he
That's
stopped
good.
doing it. And
itching.
then I feel
He's touching you now.
on the inside of my thigh
Oh, what the hell?
a hand.
Oh my God.
And I've got my arms folded because that's how I roll. I tuck them
Sure.
up like this, and that's how I sleep. I sleep in a vertical tube of myself.
A
right?
tube.
And so I immediately do this, and so it's instinctive. I feel that hand on high thigh.
High
a
thigh. He's
hand.
going for your.
And here's it.
He's trying to get some.
And I swat it, and I feel confirmed
Hey.
his hand.
It was a hand. A
It
human
was his
hand.
And then I throw it up, and I say, "What the f?" Like really loud, like
Wow. Okay.
right. And
Well,
I
you
confirm.
were pretty much
and-
just violated.
And this dude, okay, we're in economy. This is not first. We're shoulder to shoulder. So when I look at him, I mean, we're basically touching shoulders, and our eyes are 14 inches apart.
Yeah. Okay. Now I might have punched this guy. Actually.
Yeah. And so then
At
I
this
said,
point.
what the?
Defended myself.
And then I lean into his seat and violate his space. And
As
I
close
said,
as you could be.
"Get your goddamn hand off of me!" And then I start doing through gritted teeth. "Don't you fucking touch me ever. Don't
What
you
the
touch
hell?
me
This
ever
guy's
again."
crazy.
Yeah. And I dropped some F words, and I said, "If you ever touch me, so help you, I will break your face in half. You understand me? Don't you ever
This is a
touch me."
60-year-old man Clowntown is now threatening
he
after
was
being violated by him.
Late 60s.
Late
And he-
60s. I
sma-
mean, he's like, I can get away with anything. I'm 60.
he's about our height.
Okay. So he's not a big guy. You could have killed this man if you
My
wanted to.
guess
Before
is,
someone would have helped
my
him.
guess is he was from India, and I will tell you why
Okay.
here in a minute.
All right. Because he had no sense of personal space.
Right. Okay. So
a
I'm
cultural
up.
thing.
So now my finger is right in his face, and my eyes are flared up, and I don't know if he heard me or what. Whoever knows, right? So, like it's on. If anything happens, we're both buckled in. So there's going to be
He
no.
was
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys are like in a
Anything
knife
happens,
fight where you tie the
it's
wrists
gone.
together and you're just like, yeah.
That is the closest I've been to striking another human being in anger, probably in my whole life.
Like middle school.
Yeah, since middle school, right? Yeah, as an adult for sure,
adult, right.
for sure, right? As an
Oh,
adult
man.
for sure. And so he kind of does this thing. He looks at me and he goes,
What do you mean? Is it not okay to touch your thigh?
yeah, and he does
mean,
this, and he
So I didn't do it. What
says
does it mean?
the seat, and he was. It turns out I think he was trying to figure the seat out and do the deal. And he was trying to hit my button, which does this, but his button is way over on the other side. And I said,
Oh yeah.
and so I said, that's
is the
yours. This is mine. Don't touch me.
You're yelling.
Yeah.
Now. I mean,
and by the way, shades. It's a night flight. People are trying to sleep, and I'm at volume 9 yelling at this guy.
How has someone not come over by now?
Yeah, and no one did. No one did.
Is it what year was this?
2012.
Okay.
Maybe 11. Maybe late.
Right.
Maybe late 11, early 12.
I'm surprised there was no security or anything that came and talked to you.
Yeah, we could have both gotten thrown off big
you could have been like in a watch list.
We could have been. We could have landed.
Basically.
It was a transatlantic flight. We could have. We're going to LaGuardia, New York. We could have emergency landed in like Iceland or somewhere in between.
Yeah, and then be like, you guys are off.
You guys are done, Dunskies. Like you're out.
I feel like that was a possibility if you guys had gotten into it.
So now,
I mean, I don't think you were incorrect in your anger,
So
especially because you woke up to this.
Right.
So your adrenal glands immediately started going. You got touched.
Yes.
I mean, that's something that Americans are not really okay with.
Adrenaline's
especially
going.
Americans.
Yes.
Right.
Adrenaline's going. Hands are shaking. Anger. I have pit sweat now because it's
Nice.
fight time. It's fight time.
Sure.
Right.
Fight time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Story
then-
twist. Apparently, this guy's a sky marshal. He checked you for a gun in your thigh.
I get. On high thigh, he checked me for a
high
gun.
thigh. You checked for something.
So then he just kind of so that diffuses because he says and he starts messing with his seat. So I turn away and I'm just sitting there like this looking at him. So I look at him. I swear to you, I look straight at his skull for 45 minutes and he doesn't look back at me.
I probably wouldn't look back at you either.
It's a 9-hour flight, bro. It's 9 hours.
Oh my gosh,
in the air.
9-hour flight. I think I would have picked up and moved
And
somewhere else.
We're on maybe 90 minutes in.
Wow,
at this point,
you've really set this up for failure at this point.
Oh, 100%.
I think probably the reason nobody intervened is like it's too early in the flight.
Right. What are we gonna
give
do?
them a second.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
yeah. Let's let these guys.
90 minutes in. This is a 9-hour flight.
Yeah,
I got time.
let's go. Yeah, it's already conflict, and we're in a neutral zone, right?
Yeah. You can't call the policia in right now.
Right, I cannot. And
where's
yeah,
your
and
seat
I cannot
at,
call.
sir?
So then I finally look away from him after like 45. I mean, okay, so now we're like 2 hours in of 7, right? Two and a half in or so, and I finally look away from him after high thigh incident, right?
9 hours of flying with this.
So then,
potential
I burn a hole.
molester?
I do the Superman burn a hole with heat ray through his skull.
I mean, he's got permanent brain damage
with
now
my anger. Okay,
you physically affected his person.
I sit there and I'm just, I'm calm down. So then, okay, all right, we're gonna do this. All right, here we go.
60-year-old man. Again, I want to reiterate, this is an old one.
It's an old dude. It's an old, right?
And he just loves high thigh.
Right.
Doesn't matter who it's on.
Thigh. So then I sit there for no less than 6 of the remaining 7 hours not sleeping.
Oh man, not sleeping on a flight. I actually, because of my extreme motion sickness, if I'm not asleep on a flight, I would be throwing up on this guy.
I know.
I would be like,
yeah. So that's what went through my head is how do I get this guy out of here? My thing was so the next time the lady came by, they come by silently and ask for water.
So they silently, because that is an ability of a flight attendant. They can silently ask for things.
They don't bug you. They just kind of hold it up and walk through.
Right.
Okay.
They're closest to ninjas.
So then and for transatlantic flights, for any long flights, they come by with little cups of water if anyone wants, because it's really drying. They want you to drink and hydrate and all that. It's very, very drying in there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it also prevents DVT, the deep vein thrombosis and all that. It helps to hydrate.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to get any of that. Being hydrated helps.
No, I think I did have some bruising from my flight to Iraq, not back from it.
That was probably all the turbulence and everyone else grabbing you high thigh.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, I mean, they're allowed in the military. Okay?
I silently.
They were allowed to grab whatever they want.
They're holding, and she's looking, and she's looking, and she's looking, and I go, and I give a 1, and then I said 1, like that, and she brings me a water.
1 shot,
okay,
please.
thank you. And
shot of vodka.
I set it down on, not in front of me, but I set it down on the window seat, the one next to me, the free seat.
From it.
Right. And so I take a sip and I put it down there, and then I said, okay, if he gets up, I'm going to pour this all over the seat. I'm gonna go scorched earth.
So you're gonna burn all the bridges.
I'm gonna burn this bridge.
He's gonna touch high thigh again.
And if I have to, I'm gonna look straight into his eye and do it in front of him.
Oh, I see. Don't sit here anymore. Okay, we're
right.
done.
He never got up.
Oh well, he knew.
He knew. He better knew because it wasn't right. He never got up. until.
That's clear, Max. That's why I
So
like that.
he sleeps. I'm furious the whole flight.
No,
I do
fuming.
nothing but stew. I try and go to sleep. I put my blinders
You're
on. I
marinating
put my
up in
stuff
there.
on. I'm stewing. I'm saying I cannot wait for this dude to get up because the minute he gets up, I'm gonna scorched earth this seat and he's out of here. Right? I'm gonna absolutely scorched earth this seat because he's out of his seat and his seat is empty. Okay, so then here's what happens. So then, boom, we are an hour 15 minutes, or about 90 minutes from landing. Okay.
Okay. Nice, you survived. You haven't killed anybody else.
I have not fist fought anybody. The lights come up. Boom. All right, we'll now be serving breakfast for, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 90 minutes till we land in LaGuardia. We're going to be serving breakfast for the cabin. So we're coming in the morning, right? So then I see someone, and he puts his tray down, and I look at him, and I said, oh, no, you don't. I said, no. And I reach for his tray, and I'm going to put it back up and lock it. Like, you're not staying here, buddy. You're out of here. But right as I put my hand on his tray, this woman leans out of the aisle, and she points at him, and she says, come here. And this woman is like pig hag. Like, she's... And
she's scary. She's got a gnarled, kind of bent finger.
And she points
and
at him,
a
and
broken nose.
and she says, "Rah," and he says, no.
Come here.
And he goes, no. And she goes, right? And then he says, no. And he gives the piss off, right? He gives the no.
I'm not doing it.
And she, a third time,
Okay.
and she points at his seat, the one he abandoned, right? Come here. So then he with my hand, puts his tray up. Like, my hand is ready to put his tray up because he's not sitting here. He puts his tray up, and then he goes and sits in his seat, and I look.
Okay.
And this, I had a sliver of empathy for this man at this moment.
A tiny little cut of sympathy, because he was running away from something that was way worse than you, wasn't he?
Quantum, right. I could see why he endured me, okay? He's not
so bad. He might punch me in the face,
Right.
but he's not.
And I look, and starting with him. So if we go back to this seat, we're in a 3-seater. Across there are 4, and then there's 3 on the other side. So it's a 3-4-3.
Okay, right.
He's in number 1 of 4, and then I start looking at all the people in his row. It's all his family.
Oh.
They are all women.
He's a 6-year-old man who can't stand his own family.
He's the patriarch. The pig hag matriarch has called him. There are no dudes in that row. They're all talking with each other, and they're all and I can see them. They stand up and they're starting to and there's two of the seats are daughters, like 6-year-olds or something, and then so he had no fear. He had no fear coming over to me. And
punch me, I dare you. I don't care.
Punch me, I dare you. A double dog dare you. You know what I'm going back to?
Yeah.
I don't give a. I have no.
Switch me, bro.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, switch with me. Yeah, you go sit with that pig hag. I'll sit in this water. Right. And so
I'll sit in this water.
Try
me.
Try me. And so I put his down, and as soon as he gets up, I move over and put the tray down, and I occupy everything else. Like, you ain't coming back. You're done. Well, of course he's not coming back because we're starting breakfast and we're gonna do landing ascent and whatever. He's done.
Right.
He's out.
He's done. He's not moving again.
And I look across and I'm going, good. Like, go back to your horribleness go back to your horrible life. Horrible life.
His life is terrible, man.
It is terrible.
He just wants some peace.
He just wanted peace and
flight.
quiet. Right. So then I kind of felt a little bit bad, but then I thought,
a little twinge.
I thought about no. You do not touch another man on high thigh.
Molest you.
And you don't shake the goddamn seat for 18 minutes while
he was itching.
He was itching.
They got fleas over there. All right.
He was itching for like 18 minutes, and then So then my buddy Tracy. We're on the same plane. She's kind of back behind.
Okay.
She's kind of back behind. I'm in a different seat or whatever.
She's probably witness to this.
No, she didn't know. I meet up with her,
knows?
and I start telling her the story. Like, look, there's this guy. He grabbed me. He was itching and whatever.
He grabbed me. He touched me.
Yeah, and then they get, he could have a proper vacation. He wanted to hit me.
Nice.
So then we both get off, and I see Tracy and I have our one bag apiece, and we're whizzing through customs because we're lean and mean, right? And we're travelers.
Lean, mean, killing custom machines.
He has 2 of the carts with all these women behind him and an entourage and all this other stuff, and he's just freaking miserable. And I'm passing as I tell Tracy this story about how he grabbed me and I told her about the water and I was gonna fart on him, right? And
yeah, okay.
And I'm
all
telling her
tactics.
she's
dying.
She's dying laughing, and I'm going. I was about to fight this guy, and then we pass him, and I look over and I go, there he is, right there, and I mean we're 5 feet away, and I point at him with my full arm, like that's him, right there, that's him.
This guy.
And he looks, and he and Pig Hag look up at me, and they both look up at me, and I said, "That's him right there," and we're done, And then we walk off and we go through customs, and anyway, there you go. Let me play the sound drop.
What a story! That's a lovely story.
Let me play this lovely story.
I thought it was a very lovely story.
Stand by.
And you tell it so well.
Wait for it.
With such enthusiasm.
All right, it's done. All right, so there you go.
Great. Good. That's an interesting story, Clowntown.
Yeah.
I'm
Pig Hag.
happy that you didn't punch a 6-year-old man.
In retrospect, me too.
Right. You calm down.
Right.
But also, I feel like him touching your inner thigh. If you were a different person, that may be all you talked about for the rest of your life. I was molested on a plane one time.
Oh, if I was a YouTuber, that would be my clickbait title.
Right.
A 68-year-old man molested me on a plane.
I like how you put 68 in there.
Yeah.
Not 69.
Yeah.
68. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Good stuff. Good, interesting story.
Yeah.
TVG okay.
TVG
Also,
okay.
yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
So that was the closest I've ever come to I mean, I do combat training, but we're all friends, and we're in each other's safety. That was one time I did want to. I did want to hurt this guy. So.
That's funny. I mean, I've probably been as close to you as to getting into a fist fight. Yeah, probably so. Probably for smaller things. I think I've had less
smaller
constraint.
than smaller than
someone
itching
just
and
said something
touching.
I didn't like, and I had to grit my teeth not to punch them right in the face. Yeah. No, I think that's especially in the military when speaking to like a lower enlisted when they just say something dumb. Yeah, there's been a lot of times.
Oh, really?
I've been very, very close to hurting or punching another human.
Another soldier?
So I have, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. If there was one big enemy that I fought in the military, it was definitely people in service with me.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was as much aggression as I had for the enemy while I was in the military. I had exactly that amount of aggression for my friends.
Really?
For sure.
Really?
Well, I mean, like tensions are high and stuff, right? So like even my gunner, even me and him. Oh yeah, no, actually, my gunner and the driver of the vehicle in front of us got into a fist fight one time, and he dislocated that guy's shoulder. He ripped his shoulder out of socket. Like, I mean, there's tons of animosity. There was one time this corporal put 2 of his soldiers in a storage bin together, like where they were like on top of each other, like chest on chest, where they had like no room, and it had them like fight each other. He called it going to Narnia. He was a fucked up guy.
Going to Narnia?
Going to Narnia. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I've definitely been closer. I think you handled that situation better than I would have, for sure.
Oh, man.
Because if some rando civilian had touched me, I mean, he probably got an elbow in the face. I don't know. It depends on what year I'm in. Like, if it was 10 years ago, I definitely would have been much more aggressive. If I was 17, I would have been a lot more violent.
All right.
Now, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably spit in his face.
But see, I didn't even think about that. Insult. I thought about farting, but when I told the wife this story, she said, no, you don't understand. If they were really from Indian, you have no chance of winning the gas game.
Yeah, no, they have no sense of personal space.
You have the gas attacks and the Gas Warfare Act of 1918 is not going to work on this dude.
Yeah, it's not going to work. That's a cultural thing. Just the fact that you were that upset about him touching your thigh is a cultural thing.
Right, and the type of food that he eats versus the type of food that I eat, there is no competition between our gas. So if we get into a gas war, she is 100. So the wife is a nurse, and so she deals with everyone at their at their
Absolute
most
worst.
vulnerable.
Their stanky.
Their stankiness, and she can confirm that some of the worst smells she's ever encountered came from the families of those from India, and she says it's mostly because of diet and the
cultural
spices
thing.
and
Yeah,
all
it's
that
the
sort of
food you
stuff.
eat. Yeah, sure. It's what you're not used to smelling. To them, they don't even notice.
Oh,
Right?
true. Yeah, true. And
Right.
and you're right. I think we talked about this last time about your olfactory senses adjust, which is why
Right.
hoarders can exist.
Yes.
Right.
You that doesn't smell bad to me, and someone else comes in, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and they do adjust, right? If you like, I'm sure some people come to Houston, and you are like, yeah, it's great, it's fine. The day's out here, and they come
Yeah.
to Houston,
Oh, man,
and they
it's
go,
so
what
smoggy
is
here.
it? This whole place smells like a refinery. You know?
Yeah, probably definitely so, especially depending on where you go. Yeah, so you certainly do adjust.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stinky stuff, man. Actually, basic training was probably the stinkiest of all places. And the bad thing about basic training is that it's a melting pot of everyone from all over the country into one area. So they have all kinds of bacteria that you're not used to.
Yeah.
And they have all different types of food and stuff. So definitely some thinking.
Well,
How
Carlin,
often do I get into fights in the military? In basic training, there was a fist fight that drew blood once a week. Yeah, I would say.
all right, I've written that down. We're up on time, but I've written that down for next
Okay,
time
yeah.
for our others. It's called William, and it's called Other Soldiers Fights.
Well, I mean, it's a normal thing, right? That's not a big deal.
Well,
Like, I mean, the only time you're not allowed to get into a fight is on the range when you have like 5 ammo.
really?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well, we'll put a we'll put a pin in that for next time. So, all right. So this weekend for me, I've got Factorio coming up Saturday or Sunday, maybe both. We're gonna try some speed runs if we can. If we have the people.
Man, my speedruns have been terrible. Right, I've been
100%.
speedrunning XCOM, and it is freaking hard.
It's
man.
hard.
It
It's
is
hard, yeah.
really super duper hard. It's not just like speedrunning is hard. Like the game itself is unforgiving, like extraordinarily punishing. Like
51.
when I play Terraria,
You have this. You have the alien in your sight, and you're 51% sure. And
That
that's
he's gonna
really
die.
that's a really good level
that's
of
a
sure.
good percent.
That's a good level of sure that you're going to hit this thing.
All right, so what's going on right now, I've learned this new technique, thanks to a viewer, is if I spot an alien camp, I can have vision on them, and then I line up a guy to throw a grenade at them, but then I lose vision of them and throw the grenade, and the AI doesn't know how to react in that circumstance, so it just stands there. So, like, we're like cheesing the game, like, way worse than, just as bad as Terraria, honestly. Like, it's gotten to the point where I've stopped playing XCOM and I'm playing like this other game of like this bullcrap, and I'm still losing. Like that's how hard this game is. Like I'm using all these tricks and all these things, and it's still whooping my butt. Like I have a 0 success rate right now. I've been trying for weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's been doing too much Factorio? I can't tell though. No,
It's
that's what a trigger's supposed to do.
It's a bunch.
You're supposed to binge on a game, man. That's
So
what you should
I've-
do. In fact, Clowntown's numbers have been great.
Yeah, my numbers have
Better
been
than
really
mine
good.
recently.
I mean, we're certainly better than Ark. Oh my goodness, I ground out Ark for a long time.
You will get to 40 viewers pretty consistently if you have a longer stream.
Yeah.
I have noticed.
Yep. We do good.
So
Numbers have been way good. They're Terraria style
Way
numbers,
good.
which is kind of my original benchmark of am I doing better or
Yeah.
worse than I did with Terraria? Right?
sure, I agree.
So they were super good. Factorio's been really fun. Good. We've gotten. I tell you,
we talked about this last time. The biggest thing I've noticed is your interaction with everybody else in the Factorio community. You're constantly getting hosted by Colonel Will,
Colonel
and
Will,
the
yep.
other guys who do things. in
Mojo
Factorio. I think
Exterminator.
that's a big deal.
Yeah. And when they host me, like when they hosted me for the first time,
the very first time.
when they come in, I go, guys, this guy has this video that's awesome. Here's a link to it. I've even got it as a bot command. You need to go
Nice.
follow this guy because he's
Stroke
awesome.
it. Cup it.
Yeah. And he goes, wow, I'm totally, and they come in. They go,
you're a fan of my stream. I didn't know.
like, I'm totally blown away because this guy knows who I am and like loves me. I'm coming back here. I'm gonna host him every time. I'm
for
gonna
sure.
I'm gonna pimp him in my
Definitely.
channel.
Everyone likes getting their own ego stroked.
Yeah.
JD says play spooky game for tomorrow. I can play Soma tomorrow. The thing about spooky games is I just laugh at them. But yeah, you tell me what, JD. I'll play it.
I can't play spooky games or not. For
You
me.
can. Okay, so the trick to spooky games is pretend to be in control of your environment. Like, talk smack to the enemy. Oh, here's the number one thing for spooky games. The alien pops out, run directly at the alien. Do the opposite of self-preservation. go directly to throw your body at them, let them kill you, and then you will stop being afraid because it's fear of the unknown, right?
I guess.
That's gonna so you get like
I
have these
don't like the
techniques.
jump scares. I don't like the jump
It's
scares.
terrible.
Can't do it.
Well, jump scares will always get you no matter what. It
What
just,
are you
like,
doing?
it's
What do you
like-
got going on this weekend?
I guess tomorrow I'm gonna play a spooky game. We'll see what it is. I want to play some Divinity Original Sin, maybe with Clown Town at some point. That'll be fun. I am playing more XCOM for sure.
Yeah.
More for Clown than me? Oh, I see.
Yeah. See, so
Clown gets spook and I don't. Well,
I
whatever,
do.
then.
I get spooked fairly
we
easy.
can do a duo thing. I'll be on with you while you play your scary game.
I get spooked.
That's
All right.
all I got. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it very much. You know we love this. We're maybe gonna do these more often. Again, we're always seeing about that. More stuff coming. Make sure you check out the YouTube channel for this. You can find that in the panels below. Stay awesome, because it's the most important thing. If you're awesome, no wait, stay motivated. That's the most important thing. If you're motivated, you can do anything. Stay awesome, because you know you're already awesome. And we'll see you next time. And remember, catch.